Well, a very good afternoon to you, and you are right on time for the Senate proceedings on this 18th day of February, the year 2025. This is a broadcast that is streaming live from the Parliament buildings in Nairobi. A broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Kam Chimenza. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you have joined us for these Senate proceedings. This afternoon, the members of the Senate will be considering various bills. And these bills, there are three bills that if the senators this afternoon manage to get the numbers to go into division, then they will be considered at the division stage. The Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, a bill originating from the Senate, a bill sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, the Environment Laws Amendment Bill, also originating from the Senate and sponsored by Senator Abdul Haji, and also the County Civic Education Bill, a bill also originating from the Senate and sponsored by Senator Esther Okenyuri. These are bills whose debate at the second stage was done extensively, and this afternoon these bills are lined up for consideration at the division stage. But of course, all this will be subject to the numbers of the senators who will be inside the chambers once that particular business is arrived at. This afternoon, the members of the Senate will also be considering a motion. This is with regards to the report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill, a bill that is originating from the National Assembly and co-sponsored by the Vice Chairperson, Mediation Committee. This is a report that was laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, the 5th of December, the year 2024. And this is a report or that was approved by that particular committee. And this afternoon, as the members are convened for this particular sitting, they will be considering it or taking a consideration on it. This afternoon also, in terms of the petitions that the members will be considering this afternoon, is that there is a petition to the Senate by Mr. Lawrence Ndutu and other former employees of Kenya Breweries Limited. And this is with regards to failure by the Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kenyanjui Advocates to pay compensation awarded to the petitioners. This is a petition that will be presented by Senator Julius Murgor. Also a petition to the Senate by residents of Taita Taveta County concerning land ownership dispute of the Mwananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency in Taita Taveta County. And this is a petition that will be presented by the Senator Jonas Mwaruma this afternoon. The pictures that you are seeing is that the members have started making their way into the chambers. It is a sitting that is scheduled to be starting from 2:30, and in no time, that is the entrance to the Senate chambers. In no time, we shall be seeing the Speaker also making his way into the chambers to preside over this afternoon business. This afternoon also, as the members convene for this plenary sitting, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53(1), there are questions and statements that will be considered, but at the entrance, that is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kathuri Murungi, already in the chambers. He will be presiding over this afternoon sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to build with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants who have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Mr. Clerk, confirm whether you have quorum. Okay. Sergeant at arms, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the House has not yet quorated for it to be able to commence its business, and that is what has necessitated that particular quorum bell. The prayer has been said and the chair taken, but the House is yet to attain the required quorum. So that is a quorum bell, of course, to allow the members to make their way into the chambers this afternoon as the members take their seats inside the chambers. There is a motion that will be moved by the Senate Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot, and this is with regards to celebrating the life of the late Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo, following his passing away on February 16th, 2025, at the age of 57, while undergoing treatment. According to this particular motion that will be moved this afternoon for the members to be able to celebrate the life of the late Senator Cheptumo, is that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms. That is from 2008 to the year 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs. That is between the year 2008 and 2013. The chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation. Well, the House has attained that particular quorum. Allow me to hand you over.
Senator Veronica Maina. Honda. Call out the first on the clerk.
The communications. Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Senator Bugwa. Honorable Senators, I have this communication to make on the demise of Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, CBS MP. Can you occupy the first seats there where you are standing, Senator, for Kwale County? Honorable Senators, it is with deep sorrow that I notify you of the untimely demise of Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, CBS MP, Senator for Baringo County. Senator Cheptumo MP passed away on Sunday, 16th February 2025, while undergoing treatment at the Nairobi Hospital. The late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo was born on 25th December 1967 in Baringo County. The late Senator Cheptumo pursued his primary education at Maligut Primary School in Baringo County. He later joined his O and A-level certificates at Mbaltolimo Secondary and Kabalanet High Schools, respectively. The senator later joined the University of Nairobi to pursue a Bachelor of Laws degree, which he attained in 1991. He also undertook his postgraduate diploma in law from the Kenya School of Law in Nairobi and completed in 1992. Honorable Senators, Minority Leader, can you have your seats quickly? It's only that we are really briefing our department colleague, otherwise I could not give them that leeway, privilege. Honorable Senators, the late Senator Cheptumo joined elective politics in 2007 as a member of parliament for Baringo North constituency. He served in this capacity until August 2022 when he joined the Senate. During this time, the late Senator served as Assistant Minister in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs between 2008 and 2013. In the 11th Parliament, he served in various select committees, including Chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, and the House Business Committee. He also served as a member of the Parliamentary Pensions Management Committee in the National Assembly. In the 12th Parliament, the late Senator Cheptumo served as a chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in the National Assembly until the ensuing general elections in August 2022. Honorable Senators, in the aforementioned general elections, the late Senator clinched the Baringo County senatorial seat and the United Democratic Alliance UDA ticket, a position he owned until his demise. During his time in the Senate, he served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. The Senate also served as a member of the Liaison Committee, Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, Land Environment and Natural Resources, and the Handle Committee on the Proliferation of Religious Organizations and the Circumstances leading to the deaths of more than 95 people in Shakahola, Kilifi County. Senators, get to your seats. Actually, the nearest, Senator Kisang, you don't need to climb the mountain up the hill. Honorable Senators, in committee work, particularly as chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, Senator Cheptumo exhibited great zeal and passion while dealing with the matters relating to insecurity in the North Rift. the welfare of the National Police Service officers, including medical cover for serving officers and disaster management and mitigation across the country. He was also passionate about the plight of marginalized communities, where he championed their cause in his parliamentary work. Honorable Senators, despite his many accomplishments and a remarkable political career spanning approximately 17 years, the late senator remained humble and approachable. His legacy is one of the service, compassion, and true statesmanship. Throughout his political journey, Senator Cheptumo strived to bridge differences between communities, which is evidenced by his dedication to bring peace in the North Rift and to end the scourge of cattle rustling. He took up his legislative responsibilities with an unmatched zeal, humility, and selflessly, articulating the interests of the people of Baringo County and Kenyans at large. He firmly believed in promise of devolution and used every opportunity to advance its cause, particularly through his vibrant and insightful contributions to bills, motions, and other business of the Senate. Honorable Senators, it is hard to believe that just a few days ago, even while recuperating, the late Senator took some time for his official Facebook page to wish Right Honorable Raila Odinga's success in the just concluded elections for the chairperson of the African Union Commission. This showcases his relentless, his selflessness and commitment to the affairs of the country and the African continent at large. His death is indeed a big loss to the wider parliamentary fraternity and the Senate in particular. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends at this most difficult time. A condolence book has been opened at the Senate reception, main parliament buildings, for honorable senators, members of the National Assembly, and parliamentary staff to commiserate with the family of the late senator. Honorable senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, CBS MP, as well as to his constituency in Baringo County in this incredibly difficult time. The Parliament of Kenya has lost a truly dedicated, selfless, and hardworking legislator. In honor of our departed colleague, I request that we all stand and observe a minute of silence. May the soul of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, CBS MP, rest in eternal peace. Honorable Senators, as you will note at order number 6 in the supplementary order paper, the Senate Majority Leader will issue a motion a notice of motion of condolence in honor of our departed colleague. The substantive motion for debate has been listed at order number 8. Accordingly, I shall not allow any comment after the communication. Senators who wish to remember the late Senator Cheptumo will be given an opportunity after the question is proposed at order number 8. I thank you. Honorable Senators, I still have some other communications to make. Senator Joe Nyutu, wacha salamu. Yes. Honorable Senators, I have another communication to make on the demise of Honorable Moses Maruru Injendi, MP, the member for Marava constituency. Honorable Senators, it is with deep sorrow I notify you of the untimely demise of Honorable Moses Maruru Injendi, MP, the member for Marava constituency. Honorable Maruru passed away on Monday, 17th February 2025, for undergoing treatment at the Aga Khan Hospital. Senator of Busia County, your seat is just close to you. I have permit you to sit down quickly. The late Honorable Maruru Njendi was born on 9th October 1966 in Irugusi village in Marava constituency. He began his education at Irugusi Primary School from 1974 to 1981. Thereafter, he joined St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys High School from 1982 to 1985 and St. Peter's Mumias Boys High School from 1986 to 1987, where he sat for his Kenya Certificate of Education, KCE, and Kenya Advanced Certificate of Education, KECE, respectively. He later enrolled to Egerton University, where he graduated in 1991 with a Bachelor of Arts, Economics, and Sociology. His passion for education pushed him to further his studies and attained a Master of Arts, Sociology degree from the University of Nairobi in 1996. Senator Ezena, read. At the time of his demise, he was pursuing Doctor of Philosophy at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in the Republic of South Africa. Honorable Senators, the late Honorable Maruru Njendi worked at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa from 2001, where he served as an deputy registrar and later on as a lecturer. As an educationist, the late Honorable Njendi championed education reforms and dedicated his time to serve as a chairperson and member of the boards of governance of various schools, including Rugusi Secondary School. The late Honorable Njendi joined elected politics in 2013, where he successfully gained for and won the parliamentary seat as the member for Marava constituency on the Maendeleo Democratic Party MDP ticket. Until his demise, the late Honorable Njendi was serving his third term in Parliament. Honorable Senators, during his first stint in the 11th Parliament, the late Honorable Njendi was a member of the Departmental Committee on Education, Research and Technology, and the Joint Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. In this term of Parliament, the late Honorable Njendi actualized his desire by introducing a motion on recognition and compensation of village elders, which was adopted by the House in 2016. The motion urged the government to facilitate village owners with a monthly honorarium as a way of appreciating their services by meeting their logistical costs and encouraging them to uphold their dedication to the community. In the 12th Parliament, the late Honorable Njendi served in the Departmental Committee on Education and Research, the Departmental Committees on Labor and Social Welfare, Transport, Public Works and Housing, and the Committee on Regional Integration. In the 13th Parliament, he escalated the motion on recognition and compensation of village owners to a bill by sponsoring the National Government Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 25 of 2023, so as to give the motion the force of law. The bill also seeks to recognize village owners who perform national government functions at the village level and administrative units, and is currently awaiting committee of the whole House in the National Assembly. He was serving as the Vice Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education, where he played a critical role in formulation of policies in the education sector. He was also a member of the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and the Library in the National Assembly, where he contributed to the committee's work in his report on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. Honorable Senators, aside from his legislative role, the late Honorable Njendi was a devout Catholic and an active member of the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus since he joined Parliament. He was proud of his Catholic faith and was always visibly wearing his rosary at all times. During the year 2023, he requested and received a special rosary right from the Vatican, blessed by Pope Francis. The Right Honorable Ijendi was unique for his rule of thumb of always connecting his faith with the legislative work. He is reported to have always sought to understand the biblical and Catholic foundational teachings on all matters that were before the National Assembly for consideration, to inform his position and contribution on them. Honorable Senators, his death is indeed a big loss to the wider parliamentary fraternity. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends at this most difficult time. The condolence book has been opened at the Senate reception, main parliament buildings, for honorable senators, members of the National Assembly, and parliamentary staff to commiserate with the family of the late member. Honorable senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Honorable Maruru Ijendi MP, as well as his constituents in Marava constituency during this incredibly difficult time. In honor of our departed colleague, I request again that you stand and observe a minute of silence. May the soul of the late Honorable Maruru Ijendi MP rest in eternal peace. Thank you. On this particular one, since we have no motion, I'll open up to maybe 5 members from this side and 5 from this other side, so that we can condole with our departed colleague. Let me start with the majority leader, or leader of the majority party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to join you on behalf of the people of Kericho and all the friends of our departed colleague, the Honorable Malulu Ijendi, to join in passing a word of condolence and sharing in the sorrow alongside the people of Malava in Kakamega County and his family and friends. Mr. Speaker, I know the Honorable Malulu Ijendi quite well. Last year, mid of the year, he hosted yours truly alongside other legislators at his rural home in Malava. We had a good time together with him and his family and proceeded to do a funds drive for women in his constituency. I was particularly impressed, Mr. Speaker, for a member serving his 3rd term, the kind of connection he had with his constituent was something quite worth to marvel at. Because, you know, Mr. Speaker, as you stay longer with voters, sometimes that touch disappears. But he had such a good connection. There is an affectionate name, which sadly I cannot recall. And unfortunately, Senator Boni Halwale was not at that function, so probably he may not remember. But there's a name that they kept on referring to him, and he responded to quite well. I admired that about a legislator. There's something particularly good about legislatures or members of parliament who stay in touch with their people, even as they serve for many terms. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to pass my personal condolences to him, to his family, his constituents, and friends. Mr. Speaker, it's sad to lose such a young, devout legislator whose work you have shared with us, and do hope that as a parliament, we can afford him a decent send-off, Mr. Speaker, and continue to carry on the good work that he was doing for his constituents, particularly in the sugar subsector, where I know he was extremely passionate. And even when we did the sugar bill last session, Mr. Speaker, sorry, he took time to personally engage me on things that were in that particular bill that he felt should either be included or excluded. I hope in honoring his legacy, we shall ensure that that sector continues to thrive. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of the minority party.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza nataka kutoa rambirambi zangu za dhati kwa familia iliyompoteza Mheshimiwa Injendi ambaye ni mbunge wa kitaifa wa eneo bunge la Malava. Bwana Spika, jambo la kusikitisha kwamba Mheshimiwa alikuwa kijana sana na amepoteza maisha yake akiwa akitumikia watu wake wa Malava. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha kwamba kwa wakati huu, muda huu, tumeweza kupoteza seneta na vile vile pia tumeweza kupoteza mbunge wa kitaifa. Ni jambo la kusikitisha na jambo ambalo tunajua si la kufurahisha. Na vile vile ni kwamba hawa wote ambao hivi sasa wanaomboleza, ni kwamba wanaomboleza jinsia ya familia zao, vile waliweza kumpenda marehemu, na hatimaye Mwenyezi Mungu alimpenda zaidi. Sisi hatuna la kusema ila tu ni kumwombea Mwenyezi Mungu aiweke roho ya marehemu Injendi mahali ambapo amelala wema. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator representing Kakamega County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's hard for the people of Kakamega and especially Malava constituency to accept the passing on of this humble man, a gentleman, a man who I can't recollect when he ever clashed with anybody. I want to use this opportunity to celebrate him and to encourage his 5 sons that the example the father has left, it is indeed possible for them to outlive it. I also want to say pole to the wife, who by coincidence is the daughter of my aunt. And Mr. Speaker, the people of Malava have been lucky for so long. When Angatia was MP, the late, he was a very humble man. And when Peter Soita Shtanda took over, Shtanda was equally very humble. And finally, there goes Malulu, who is again a very humble man. I want to appeal to Parliament that we immortalize Malulu Injendi by giving the village elders the dream of earning a salary as envisioned by Malulu Injendi when he moved the bill that is going through the due process. Mr. Speaker, Malulu Injendi did so much together with Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe. They did so much for the new order in the sugar industry. I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the government to ensure that that bill is implemented to the letter. There is speed-up regulations to accompany it, and to get rid of cartels in the sugar industry, which is the reason why we are not doing well. Finally, I would like to appeal to the people of Malava. Now that the president has given us Shamberere National Polytechnic, to think of how they can leave a mark in his name in that institutions. Because Malulu and I, we disturbed the president so much before he gave us that factory. And finally, Mr. Speaker, let us also remember where we have come from. We fought to form this government. We fought. And when I see a few careless people wanting to bring division with this government, within this government, I don't like it. Even if we have offended each other, let us come back so that, Mr. Speaker, the sweat, the blood, and broken limbs that occasioned the birth of this government can have a meaning. Mr. Speaker, I say this because we were in the home of Malulu Njendi when the police descended on us, tear gassed us, beat us up, went into Malulu Njendi's house, tear gassed him with his children. I saw Malulu, he was a tall, dark guy with white mucus coming from his mouth, from his nose. Mr. Speaker, this government meant so many things. May this government succeed in giving our people development.
Senator Ososi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I and my family would like to, and the people of Vihiga that I represent, I'd like to send my sincere condolences to the family, friends, and the entire Malava constituency fraternity for having lost such an able leader. Mr. Speaker, you know that you and I and several members here, Senator Kisang, Senator Manzo, we served in the National Assembly with and Onyonka also. We served in the National Assembly together with the late Malulu, and Malulu exemplified three important virtues. One was the humility, two, simplicity, and three, service to the people. And I remember that Malulu contributed so much to the development of legislation in the National Assembly then. The issue of village elders being empowered, it's still pending, Mr. Speaker. I think for the remembrance of the late Malulu, we need to fast track that legislation so that our village elders, who are doing a very important role in our villages, are able to receive some stipend from the national government. The same way CHPs are also receiving stipend from the county government and also the national government. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Malulu also played a big role in ensuring that we have a responsible social media. Mr. Speaker, I remember very well when we were serving in the Committee of ICT, with Senator Kisang here being the chair, Honorable Malulu brought a legislative proposal to our committee to ensure that we have a responsible and better use of the social media. We looked at that, and that is what gave way to two very important legislation. The legislation on Data Protection Act and the legislation on Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act. So the gentleman we are mourning today has played a big role in development of legislation in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I heard about this death, I was shocked because early part of December, Honorable Malulu called me and told me, DPL, I want to have a meeting with you. And I said, I will create time to have a meeting. Then a week later again, he called me and said he wanted to have a meeting with me. I am very sorry that my friend has gone to heaven without us having the meeting that he had requested. Indeed, the Luya community, we have lost a strong leader, a leader who worked for the people, a leader who genuinely pursued people's interest, especially the sugarcane farmers in Butali, West Kenya, Mumias, and all over the country. He played a big role in ensuring that the rights of the farmers are protected. And he did that without any self-interest. You know what happens in the sugar industry. Honorable Malulu was not the type. He did it for the service of the people of Malava, of people of Kakamega, and the people of Western and the people of Kenya. So indeed, we have lost a great leader, and we wish to state that may the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chalage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the onset, on my own behalf, on behalf of my family and the great people of Nandi, where we neighbor Kakamega County, where Honorable Malulu Ijendi comes from, I want to pass my deepest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues, and the great people of Malava in Kakamega constituency for losing such a humble and simple man. Mr. Speaker, the trademark of Honorable Malulu Ijendi was wearing a rosary. He was a devout Catholic, Mr. Speaker. He was a man who was very simple and respectful to all of us. Mr. Speaker, I remember the last time we had official function with Honorable Malulu Ijendi was in IC Kapcherop in Elgeyo Marakwet County. He was very jovial, Mr. Speaker. He had a lot of wise words to tell us and the congregation, and he was very respectful, Mr. Speaker. I also met him a few weeks before he was admitted, Mr. Speaker, at the Health Club of Parliament, and he looked jovial, he trained, and he looked exciting. Mr. Speaker, it's very sad that a few weeks ago, he had to be admitted, Mr. Speaker, and we wish, may the good Lord continue to give the strength. Mr. Speaker, just in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, you have to note this. I remember the words of Senator Boni Kalwale. When President William Ruto, Mr. Speaker, was campaigning to be the president, the only elected leader in Kakamega County who stood with President William Ruto, Mr. Speaker, was Honorable Malulu Ijendi. He was a true friend when everybody else was being intimidated, blackmailed, coerced through the state brinkmanship, Mr. Speaker. It is only Honorable Malulu Ijendi in the entire Kakamega County, Mr. Speaker, who stood with President William Ruto, and he went ahead to be elected in the same party, Mr. Speaker. I think out of tremendous respect, Mr. Speaker, to Malava people, we have an obligation to ensure we fulfill the dreams of development in that constituency, Mr. Speaker. You have had even the police went and tear gas him, Mr. Speaker, in his house. And you remember, Mr. Speaker, we went at one time to open his house, which was palatial-like. And he was a welcoming man, Mr. Speaker. And I like the Luya tradition. When you become a big man, you build a big house and you marry many wives, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, and secondly and finally is also we must implement the Boni, of course, as world gold medal on such matters. It goes without gainsaying, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of sugar reforms, I remember he was very instrumental in the Sugar Act that has been passed into law. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, in honor of Honorable Malulu Ijendi, Mr. Speaker, we must implement fully the Sugar Act and also give Wazee or the village elders the remuneration and emoluments and salary in honor of our Honorable Malulu Ijendi. And I know as Parliament we did pass the backstops were to the Ministry of Treasury. If we honor and respect the legacy of Honorable Malulu Ijendi, let, Mr. Speaker, all village elders be given remuneration, be given salaries, be given emoluments, Mr. Speaker. With those very remarks, may the soul of our brother and colleague and friend, Honorable Malulu Ijendi, rest in eternal peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's get a confirmation from the Deputy Minority Whip, whether he is building a big house or maybe he is in the process. Senator Sifuna.
Asante sana mstahiki Spika, wakati kama huu si wakati wa mzaha, manake ni lazima tuwape wale ndugu zetu ambao wametuaga heshima yao. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka nichukue fursa hii na mimi kwa niaba yangu haswa kama kiongozi anayeondokea jamii ya Mlembe, na kwa niaba ya wakazi wote wa Nairobi, familia yangu, nitoe rambirambi zangu kwa mwenda zake Mheshimiwa Malulu Injendi, mbunge wa Malava. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kwamba habari hizo ziwafikie ndugu zangu wote katika bunge la kitaifa ambao walikuwa wanafanya kazi kwa karibu na Mheshimiwa Malulu Injendi. Mimi muda mchache ambao nilipata kujumuika na yeye, nataka kutoa na mimi ule ushuhuda kwamba alikuwa ni mtu mpole sana na hakuwa na shida na watu. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo hili ambalo limefanyika ni jambo la kuvunja moyo sana, lakini tunaomba kwamba yeye atapata kupumzika mahali pema na kwamba familia yake itapata kufarijika. Mimi kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM najua kwamba wakati mwingine tunapojiingiza katika siasa pale chini, Mheshimiwa Spika, huwa zinakuwa zimechacha kweli. Na unajua kwamba wakati wa uchaguzi wa mwaka 2022 kulikuwa na dhoruba nzito sana ya wanaazimio katika kaunti ya Kakamega. In fact, Mheshimiwa Spika, kati ya maeneo bunge 12 katika kaunti ya Kakamega, Azimio waliweza kuzoa jumla ya viti 10, na ni viwili tu, ile ya Shinyalu na hii ya Malulu Injendi ambaye wana Kenya Kwanza waliweza kutubwaga. Kwa hivyo inapelekea kuashiria kwamba huyu jamaa alikuwa na yeye si mchache, ya kwamba kwa muda huo wote ambao ametumikia watu wake pale Kakamega kweli walikuwa na mwenzi. Kwa hivyo kwa niaba yangu mwenyewe, kwa niaba ya chama kizima cha ODM, makao makuu ya chama, kinara wangu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga na watu wa Nairobi, nasema poleni sana kwa kumpoteza mpendwa wenu na Mungu aweze kumrehemu. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I also wish to take this time to give my condolences for the loss of Honorable Malulu Injendi. I first had an encounter with him at the office of the Deputy President then, as I worked in the Strategy and Delivery Office that was aimed at implementing the TTI idea, which was aimed at equipping young people with technical skills. And Honorable Malulu Injendi kept knocking doors to follow up projects that were related to the TVET sector. For that, I actually learned he had a strong passion in education. Little did I know he was a member of the Education Committee at the National Assembly. For that, I am really sorry that we have lost one of us, because I equally share a lot of interest in education. And secondly, Honorable Malulu Injendi being elected to serve for a third time is a good example to young people who are aspiring for political leadership. For someone to be elected for a third time shows he was a very reachable person, giving services to the people, and those are some of the attributes we should emulate. Finally, Honorable Malulu Injendi was a fairly, not fairly really, I always saw him on photos with his rosary. Shows that he had a lot of connection with his maker, and I know wherever he has gone to a safe place. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to share in the words of condolences to the hero who has left to be with the Lord. Mr. Speaker, I didn't know Honorable Malulu at a personal level, but according to the eulogy that has just been read here, I've noticed that he was a very dedicated member of National Assembly and an important person to this country who was defending his people and legislating for the well-being of his people. Mr. Speaker, let me convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of Honorable Malulu Injendi and the people of Malaba and Kakamega as a whole. My condolences and the condolences of people of Machakos. Mr. Speaker, the word of God tells us in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 8 that to be absent in the body is to be before the Lord. And so we are sure that the fallen heroes are with the Lord right now. And to the family, I want to condole with them with this scripture of Psalms 34 verse 18, which says that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and he saves them. Mr. Speaker, may the soul of Honorable Malulu Ngendi rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Senator Kisan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of myself, my family, and the great people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, I want to send my sincere condolences to the family of Honorable Malulu Ngendi of Malava constituency in Kakamega, the National Assembly, and Kenya at large. Honorable Speaker, we came to Parliament together during the 11th Parliament with Malulu, the 12th Parliament, and he came back as a third-term member of Parliament for Malava constituency. Honorable Speaker, in all the 3 terms that he came to Parliament, he was in different parties. So basically it means Malulu Ngendi was loved by his people. He was not elected because of the party, because sometimes we get elected because of some party wave. But for him, he came as a result of the love of his people who loved him, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, also in the 12th Parliament, as Honorable Sotsa has said, when he came up with a bill on some digital issues, Honorable Speaker, we sat down with him as a committee because we had 2 bills that we were running that time, one on data protection, and then one on Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act. We sat down and we incorporated all the issues, the concerns that he had, and he accepted. He didn't, you know, if there were other different members, they would have met an issue to say they wanted their own bill to pass, but he accepted and supported us, Honorable Speaker. He was very active member of the Catholic faith in Parliament. We've been together from 2013 up to his demise yesterday, Honorable Speaker. And he was not ashamed to carry the big cross all the time. Some of us, sometimes you put our cross, the old rosary, inside our shirts. But for him, he displayed it outside all the time. So I believe that Honorable Malulu Ngendi has gone to be with the Lord. He has gone to heaven. He's one of the few that we are sure where he has gone. I want to pray that the Almighty Lord God comfort the family, give them peace, strength, and comfort during this particular time, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Lastly but not the least, Senator Okongo Mugeni.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilipokea kwa huzuni taarifa za kifo cha Mheshimiwa Malulu Ngendi aliyekuwa mbunge wa Malava katika jimbo la Kakamega. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilikuwa nimesikia mwanzo kwamba Mheshimiwa Malulu alikuwa akiugua kwanza katika hospitali ya Nairobi na baadaye katika hospitali ya Aga Khan, na ni kwa sababu alikuwa mheshimiwa mwenye afya, sikufikiria kwamba kifo kingetembelea haraka vile imefanyika. Kwa siku zile nimemjua Mheshimiwa Malulu Ngendi, alikuwa ni mtu ambaye alikuwa anapenda kuwatumikia wakazi wa eneo bunge la Malava kwa dhati. Kwa hivyo mimi natoa pole kwa familia yake, wakazi wa Malava, wale ambao walikuwa wanashirikiana naye bungeni na taifa lote kwa jumla. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunapopitia majonzi makubwa kama haya, yale tunazaambia familia ni kwamba tunawaombea, tunaweka familia mikononi mwake Mwenyezi Mungu, awafariji huu wakati mgumu ambao wanaopitia, na tunawahakikishia kwamba sisi katika bunge la National Assembly na bunge la Seneti na tume ya kushughulikia mambo ya wabunge ya Parliamentary Service Commission tutashirikiana na familia kuhakikisha kwamba tunapunguza huu mzigo ambao familia imepata. Kwa hivyo tunasema pole sana watu wa Malava, watu wa jimbo la Kakamega, na tunawaombea Mwenyezi Mungu awe nanyi wakati wa siku hizi za majonzi. Poleni sana watu wa Malava.
So, Senators, those of you who will be able to get a chance during the other motion for Senator Cheptum, will be able to condole both the members of Parliament when you get a chance. So, Clerk, let's go to the next one.
Order number 3, messages.
Order, Senators. I have a message from the President, which is a presidential memorandum on the referral of the Cotton Industry Development Bill 2023. Honorable Senators, am I speaking to the mic? Thank you. Honorable Senators, I've seen just in that this is a presidential memorandum on the referral of the Cotton Industry Development Bill 2023. Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 47.1, I have received the following message from His Excellency the President regarding the referral of the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2023. The message, which came as a presidential memorandum dated 12th February 2025, was received in my office on Friday, 14th February 2025. Pursuant to the same standing order, I now report the message. Whereas a bill titled An Act of Parliament to Provide for the Regulation, Production, Value Addition, Marketing and Distribution of Cotton in Kenya and its products, establish the Cotton Industry Development Board, provide a framework for cotton farming, ensure value addition to cotton and its related products, and for connected purposes, was passed by the National Assembly on the 14th of August 2024 and by the Senate on the 4th December 2024. And whereas the Cotton Industry Development Bill 2023 was presented to me for assent in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution on the 3rd February 2025. Now, therefore, in exercise of the powers conferred on me by Article 115 of the Constitution, I decline to assent to the Cotton Industry Development Bill 2023 and refer the bill for consideration by the Senate for the reasons set out here under. So, Senator Zena, have your seat next to you. Honorable Senators, in the memorandum, His Excellency the President has noted his reservations and set out the proposed parts for consideration by the Senate. Honorable Senators, Article 115 provides that the Houses of Parliament shall either amend the bill to accommodate the President's reservations fully by a vote supported by a majority of all delegations, or by a vote supported by 2/3 of all delegations, pass the bill a second time without amendment or with amendments, and do not fully accommodate the President's reservations. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 170, I refer the same memorandum to the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries for consideration. The committee is required to, within 14 days, lay on the table of the Senate its report on the memorandum. I direct that the committee tables its report on or before Wednesday, 5th March 2025 for consideration by the Senate. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 4. Order number 4, petitions.
There is a petition by Senator Julius Mulgo, who I saw on my side of the eye trying to sit down when I was reading the message. So I saw you next time, Senator Mulgo. You will get some discipline. Now lean the petition. You can maybe use the dispatch box.
Petition to the Senate concerning failure by Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kinyanjui Advocates to pay compensation to Lawrence Ndutu and 125 others as awarded by the court. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 232-1, B, I hereby present a petition that has been submitted through the clerk by Mr. Lawrence Ndutu, other former employees of former Kenya Breweries Limited regarding failure by the Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kinyanjui Advocates to pay compensation to Lawrence Ndutu and 125 others awarded by the court. As you know, as you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within which authority, including to enact, and amend or repeal any legislation. To silent issues raised in the said petition are as follows: that the petitioners were former employees of Kenya Breweries Limited whose employment was terminated unlawfully, that the petitioners filed a matter in court, that the petitioners were represented by 3 individual law firms, that is J. Harrison Kinyanjui and Company Advocates, Namada and Company Advocates, and P.O. Box and Company Advocates, that this suit was determined on 24th January 2018, and that judgment states as follows: that its decision to complete the employees, to compel the employees to take early retirement was unlawful and was a breach of the Constitution and agreement of employment, that the defendant therefore pays each plaintiff damages for loss of employment and sum of 1 month's salary as at the time of termination of employment, that the defendant refunds the plaintiff and sum of Kenya shillings 30 and 30,180 and 685 being the amount withheld in terms of the scheduled filed by the terms of advocates of Nanda and co-advocates, that the defendant pays the plaintiff the cost of a suit, that the defendant pays interest on the above sum of money at the court rates from the date of judgment until the date of full payment, that this payment was received by J. Harrison Kinyanjui, company advocates, after writing to Kaplan and Stratton advocates on 29th March 2018, that on 4th July 2018, Mr. Kinyanjui and sent discharge vouchers for his client through a letter stating that each person named in the form accept payment of the indicated sum 9,180,685 as full and final settlement in the matter of Lawrence and Dutu and 600 others versus Kenya Breweries Limited, another HCCC 279 of 203, contrary to the judgment issued on 24th January 2018, that Mr. Kinyanjui indicated that each person would later receive damages of loss of employment and sum of a month's salary as the time of termination of the employment as ordered by the court, that the petitioners paid J. Harrison Kinyanjui and company advocates a sum of $250,000 to file an appeal at the Court of Appeal with regard to the compensation for loss of employment. That on 29 December 2021, Kaplan and Stratton advocates forwarded a consent to the suit as settle with regard to client of J. Harrison and company advocates, that on 31st December 2023, Kaplan and Stratton advocates paid the sum of Kenya shillings 1 million to J. Harrison Kinyanjui advocates as being the party and party cost together with interest occurred and decretal sum of up on 31st November 2021, that Harrison and company advocate forwarded a signed consent to Kaplan and Stratton advocates without the knowledge of the plaintiff, that on 21st January 2022, Kaplan and advocates and Stratton advocates paid Kenya shillings 14,756,312.35 to Harrison and company advocates, that the petitioners sought to obtain updates on the appeal filed by J. Harrison and Kinyanjui company advocates. However, the delay was prolonged and no update was forthcoming. Otherwise, to the delay and use of threats by J. Harrison and Kinyanjui company advocates and plaintiff launched a complaint that the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, DCI, that it was at this point that petitions discovered that company and Stratton advocates had submitted as a consent to make the suit as settled for the claims of J. Harrison and Kinyanjui, company advocates, on 20th December 2021. Subsequently, on 12th January 2022, J. Harrison Kinyanjui company advocates forwarded a signed consent to Kaplan and Stratton advocates without the petitioner's authority or knowledge, and that KBL, Kaplan and Stratton and Harrison advocates have failed to pay interest up to 31st January 2022 of $4,350,771.35 as awarded by the court, but instead paid up to November and damages for loss of employment and sum of equivalent to one month salary as at the time of termination of employment as awarded by the court. Finally, that the petitioners therefore pay the Senate, pray that the Senate investigate the matter with a view recommending that the outstanding dues for the petitioners are settled and establishes any wrongdoing on the part of J. Harrison and Kinyanjui company advocates, and make recommendations on actions to be taken. I table. Thank you.
So, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2.81, this petition is committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare for consideration. And in terms of Standing Order 2.82A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to table its report in the Senate for consideration. And the Senate shall thereafter consider and adopt the report of the committee. The next petition, Senator Mwaruma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This petition concerns an ownership dispute of the Mwananchi settlement scheme in Matati constituency in Taita Taveta County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 232(1)B, I hereby present a petition that has been submitted by residents of Taita Taveta County who are citizens of the Republic of Kenya. As we are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or repealing any legislation. The salient issues raised in the petition are A, that the Mwananchi settlement scheme was registered in May 2010 by the government of Kenya, in which LR number 12924, comprising 9,070 hectares, was subdivided to settle 1,322 people. B, that the government of Kenya, through the settlement fund, a trustee fund, bought the land from the Wananchi Estates Limited at a cost of 40 million. C, that the Wananchi Ranching Directed Agricultural Company Limited filed a case at the Environment and Land Court at Voi, case number ELC number 7 of 2024, and sought the following reliefs. 1, a permanent injunction restraining the defendants from selling, disposing, evicting, alienating, demarcating, and issuing of titles or in any way dealing with LR number 12924, CR 20403, situated in Mwatate. 2, a declaration that the transfer of the land to the Settlement Trust Fund trustees and all consequential transfers be null and void. 3, a declaration that LR number 12924 belongs to a Wananchi Ranching Directed Agricultural Company. C, that the case filed by Wananchi Ranching Directed Agricultural Company was against Wananchi Estates Limited, the Settlement Trustee Fund trustees, the Land Commissioner, and the Attorney General of Kenya. E, that the 1,322 owners of land in the settlement scheme were not listed as defendants and thus had no opportunity to defend their interests in the suit. F, that Wananchi Ranching Direct Agricultural Company alleged that Wananchi Estates Limited fraudulently sold land it didn't own to the Settlement Trustee Fund trustees. G, that on Friday 18th October 2024, Judge E.K. Waboto at the Voi Law Courts gave his judgment on the case in which, among other things, declared that Wananchi Ranching Direct Agricultural Company is the bona fide and legitimate owner of LR number 12924, and that the land registration records be rectified to reflect so. H, that the judgment had caused a lot of anxiety amongst the owners of the land in the settlement scheme for fear of losing their land, which they legally own. I, that the petitioners have made the best efforts to have the matters addressed by the relevant authorities, of which they failed to give a satisfactory response. And J, that none of the issues raised in the petition are pending before any court of law, constitutional or legal body. 4, consequently, the petitioners praise that the petitioner praised that at the Senate the Senate, 1, intervenes and investigates the matter with a view to ensure that the area residents are adequately compensated. 2, inquires into the matter and makes appropriate recommendations on the irregular transactions on LR number 12924 submitted in Mwatate constituency. 3, inquires into the matter and makes legislative interventions relating to the land transfer and acquisition processes to ensure that innocent Kenyans are protected. And 4, takes any other appropriate action it deems fit to resolve the matters raised herein. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I commit that petition to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. And in terms of standing under 282, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from today to table its report in the Senate for consideration. Next on, Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate. Today, Tuesday, the 18th of February, 2025. This is one, the National Treasury Economic Planning Report to Parliament on all new loans contracted by Government of Kenya from 1st September 2024 to 31st December 2024. Then two, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Kiambu County for the year ended 30th June 2024, County Executive of Kiambu, County Assembly of Kiambu, County Revenue Fund, County Government of Kiambu, Kiambu County Emergency Fund, Kiambu County Executive Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund, Kiambu County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, Kiambu County Assembly Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund, Kiambu County Education Bursary Fund, Kiambu County Jinue Fund, Kiambu County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, Kiambu County Climate Change Fund, Limuru Municipality, Karori Municipality, Thika Municipality, Kikuyu Municipality, Ruiru Municipality, Kiambu Municipality, Kiambu County Health Services Facilities Improvement Fund, Kiambu Level 5 Hospital, Gatundu Level 5 Hospital, Thika Level 5 Hospital, Nyatuna Level 4 Hospital, Karatu Level 4 Hospital, Igegania Level 4 Hospital, Kihara Level 4 Hospital, Tigoni Level 4 Hospital, Karori Level 4 Hospital, Lusingeti Level 4 Hospital, Wangige Level 4 Hospital, Lari Level 4 Hospital, Ruiru Level 4 Hospital, Ruiru Juja Water and Sewerage Company, Limuru Water and Sewerage Company, Thika Water and Sewerage Company, Githunguri Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Kikuyu Water Company Limited, Gatundu Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Karori Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Kiambu Water and Sewerage Company, St. John Teachers and Training College, Kilimambogo. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Baringo County for the year ended 30th June 2024, County Executive of Baringo, County Assembly of Baringo, County Revenue Fund, County Governments of Baringo, Receiver of Revenue, Revenue Statements, County Government of Baringo, Baringo County Executive Car Loan Scheme Fund, Baringo County Executive Mortgage Scheme Fund, Baringo County Assembly Members Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, Baringo County Assembly Staff Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, Baringo County Emergency Fund, Baringo County Bursary and Scholarship Fund, Cabernet Municipality, County of Baringo, Baringo County Micro and Small Enterprises Fund, Baringo County Older Persons with Severe Disability Fund, Baringo County Youth and Women Fund, Baringo County Cooperative Development Fund, Baringo County Conservation Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024, Baringo County Lake Bogoria Community Grant, Baringo County Catering and Health Services Scheme Fund, Chemolingot Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, County Government of Baringo, Marigat Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, County Government of Baringo, Eldama Ravine District Level 4 Hospital, County Government of Baringo, Kabartonjo Level 4 Hospital, County Government of Baringo, Kirandich Water Company Limited, Eldama Ravine Water and Sewerage Company Limited. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Next order. Before we go to the next order, there's a communication to make on the report by the National Treasury on no new loans contracted by the government from 1st September 2024 to the 1st December 2024. Honorable Senators, as you may have noted, the Senate Majority Leader laid on the table of the Senate this afternoon the report by the National Treasury and Economic Planning on no new loans contracted by the Government of Kenya from 1st September 2024 to the 1st September 2024. As you may be aware, Section 31(1) of the Public Finance Management Act states that the Cabinet Secretary shall submit to Parliament every 4 months a report of all rules made by the national government entities, and county governments in accordance with Article 21(2) of the Constitution. Pursuant to Section 31(3) of the Public Finance Management Act, the report submitted to Parliament contains A, the names of the parties to the loan, B, the amount of the loan and the currency in which it is expressed and in which it is payable, 3, the terms and conditions of the loan, including interest and other charges payable, and the terms of repayment, D, the amount of the loan advanced at the time the report is submitted, E, the purpose of which the loan was used, and the perceived benefits of the loan, and such other information as the Cabinet Secretary may consider appropriate. Therefore, Honorable Senators, given the significance of national debt in our public finance management framework, I hereby commit the report of the National Treasury and Economic Planning on all new loans contracted by the Government of Kenya from 1st September 2024 to 31st December 2024 to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget for consideration. So, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have 2 notices of motion. Can you requesting to do both concurrently?
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'll start with the notice of motion. I beg to give notice of the following motion, which is a celebration of the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. Aware that the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County, passed away on February 16, 2025, at the age of 57 while undergoing treatment. Cognizant that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms from 2008 to 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs from 2008 to 2013, Chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the House Business Committee, and the Committee on Pensions 2013 to 2017, and the Chairperson on the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs 2017 to 2022. Further cognizant that the late William Cheptumo was elected Senator for Baringo County in 2022 and continued with his stellar legislative work in the Senate, having sponsored many businesses, among them a motion on the declaration of the cattle rustling and banditry as a national disaster, and establishment of a special fund for victims, which was adopted by the Senate on the 30th of May 2024, and served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, and as a member of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, and that of the Land, Environment and Natural Resources, which positions he served until his demise on the 16th of February 2025. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deepest sadness at the death of Honorable William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County and the Chairperson of Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, records its appreciation for his contribution to public service spanning over 2 decades, recognizing the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues from across the political divide, and the humble, principled and dedicated manner in which he undertook his duties, and offers its profound sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, Baringo County, and the nation at large. The second notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, this is on recording the thanks of the Senate of Kenya on the attempt for the position of chairperson of the African Union Commission. Mr. Speaker, I give notice of the following motion, recalling that the African Union, the successor to the Organization of Africa Unity, was established in 2002 as a continental body consisting of 55 member states that make up the countries of African continent, with a vision of creating an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in global arena. aware that the African Union Commission, AUC, was established as the secretariat responsible for the operations and activities of the AU, headed by the chairperson elected by heads of states and government from member states. Recalling that on the 27th of February 2024, Kenya formally announced that the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, EGH, will be vying for the position of chairperson of the African Union Commission. Noting that regionally he served as African Union Special Envoy for Infrastructure during Infrastructure and Development, His Excellency the President endorsed the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as Kenya's candidate for the chairperson of African Union Commission. Noting that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's candidature for the position of chairperson was not only his personal ambition but a symbol of Kenya's deep commitment to the goals of the African Union and its desire to participate in shaping the continent's future. Commending the government of Kenya led by His Excellency the President for a robust campaign in support of the candidate, reinforced by the continental integration and cooperation and guided by Kenya's foreign policy. Further commending the remarkable achievement by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for emerging runners-up in the election of the chairperson of the AU on Saturday, 15th of February 2025, and recognizing that the need to sustain Kenya's growing prominence on the continental stage and advocacy for a more united, prosperous, self-reliant Africa, in resonance with the aspirations of millions of Africans who seek to see the continent empowered to chart its own course in the global arena. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its profound thanks to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for demonstrating unwavering commitment to service of Africa by offering his candidature for the position of chairperson of African Union Commission, for his leadership in advancing Pan-African unity, for his dedication to the development and integration of the African continent, and for his distinguished attempt at the election. 2, records its thanks to His Excellency the President William Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Kenya, for endorsing Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga as Kenya's candidate for the election as a chairperson of African Union Commission, and for coordinating the campaign and support in his candidature. 3, records its congratulations to His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf on his election as a chairperson of the Commission on Saturday, 15th of February, 2025.
Is the next notice of motion? Who called you to move to the dispatch box? Proceed, Senator Faki.
I was told the next motion. So, celebrating the life of the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That aware that the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, a renowned media personality, passed away on the 7th of February 2025 at the age of 84 years, cognizant that he had an illustrious career in media spanning over 5 decades and was one of the most influential voices in Kenyan radio, especially through his long-running radio and television program, Je Huu Ni Ungwana. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language. Mr. Speaker, I am surprised the motion is in English. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language kept Kenyans informed on many topics.
Senator Mohammed.
Yes.
You know you are confusing the House, the Senate.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Why are you amazed? Because that is your motion.
Yes, it's my motion, yes.
Who interpreted it into...
I will. When I move the motion tomorrow, I will move it in Kiswahili, Mr. Speaker, sir. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language kept Kenyans informed on many topics, while his exceptional football commentaries on radio brought joy to many people and popularized the sport at a time when live football on television was rare. Appreciating that the lasting legacy that he leaves in the media industry and the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues and persons from all walks of life. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Mr. Mbotela, records its celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation at large.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The next notice of motion from the Chairperson Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds. Actually, we have several.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I have 5 notices of motion.
Just proceed and give notice.
Allow me to read all of them. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on its consideration of audit reports for the financial years 2018-2019, which is Volume 4, 2019-2020, which is Volume 5, and 2020-2021, which is Volume 6, for the following water service providers laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 29th May 2024. 1. Busia Water and Sewerage Services Company Limited, E10 Tambachi Water and Sewerage Company Limited, Kirinyaga Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Malindi Water and Sewerage Company Limited, Migori Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Mombasa Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Nanyuki Water and Sanitation Company Limited, and Nithi Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on its consideration of the audit report for the financial years 2018-2019, Volume 6, 2019-2020, Volume 7, and 2020-2021, Volume 9, for Eldama Ravine, Eldoret, Embu, Githunguri, Homa Bay, Kahuti, Kakamega, Kapenguria, Kapsabet, Karuri, Nandi, Kericho, Kiambu, Kibwezi, Makindu, Kikuyu, Kitui, Lamu, Limuru, Madira, Matungulu, Kangundo, Booni, Meru, Municipality of Machakos, Muranga, Muranga South, Naivasha, Nakuru Rural, Nakuru Town, Narok, Olkalau, Olekajado, Odhaya, Mukurueni, Ruiru Juja, Sibo, Tavevo, Tetu Abadea, and Water Sanitation and Sewerage Company, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 22nd October 2024. The third notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report of the following county bursary funds for the year 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022. Number 1, Baringo County Education Bursary and Scholarship Fund. Number 2, Bomet County Bursary Fund. Number 3, Bomet County Education Revolving Fund. Number 3, Bungoma County Education Support Scheme. Number 5, Elgeyo Marakwet County Education Fund. Number 6, Garissa County Scholarship Fund. Number 7, Homa Bay County Bursary Fund. Number 8, Kajiado County Bursary Grants and Scholarship Fund. Number 9, Kericho County Bursary Fund. Number 10, Kiambu County Education Bursary Fund. Number 11, Kilifi Ward Scholarship Fund. Number 12, Kirinyaga County Education Bursary Fund. Number 13, Kisii County Bursary Fund. Number 14, Kwale County Bursary Fund. Number 15, Laikipia County Bursary Fund. Number 16, Lamu County Bursary and Scholarship Fund. Number 16, Machakos County Bursary Fund. Number 17, Makueni County Bursary Fund. Number 18, Mandera County Education Bursary Fund. Number 19, Marsabit County Education Fund. Number 20, Migori County Ward Development Fund. Number 21, Mombasa County Elimu Fund. Number 22, Nakuru County Bursary Fund. Number 23, Nandi County Bursary Fund. Number 24, Narok County Bursary Fund. Nyamira County Education Bursary Fund. Nyandarua County Bursary Fund. Nyeri County Elimu Fund. Samburu County Education Fund. Siaya County Education Bursary Fund. Taveta County Education Fund. Tana River County Ward Bursary Fund. Tharaka-Nithi County Bursary Development Fund. Trans Nzoia County Elimu Bursary Fund. Turkana County Education and Skills Development Fund. Uasin Gishu County Bursary and Skills Support Fund. Uasin Gishu County Education Revolving Fund. Vihiga County Education Fund. Wajir County Bursary Fund. And finally, West Pokot County Bursary Fund, laid on the table of the Senate on the Thursday, 5th December 2024. The fourth notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, bear with me. I'm the chair of a very hard-working committee. So the reports are many. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report of the following county hospitals for the financial years 2021-2022. Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, Karatina Sub-County Hospital, Kilifi Health Empowerment Fund, Kinango Sub-County Hospital, Kwale Sub-County Hospital, Longisa County Referral Hospital, Lungalunga Sub-County Hospital, Migori County Level 4 Hospital, Msambweni Sub-County Hospital, Mount Kenya Sub-County Hospital, Mukurueni Sub-County Hospital, and Othaya Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I wish to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report of the following municipalities for the financial years ended 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023. Financial year 2020-2021. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kisii, Kitale, Lamu, Mwatate, Rumuruti. B, financial year 2021-2022. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisii, Kitale, Lamu, Migori, Mumias, Murang'a, Mwatate, Rongo, Rumuruti. And C, financial years 2022-2023. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kakamega, Kitale, Migori, Mumias, Murang'a, Rongo, Rumuruti, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, the busy chairman. Honorable Senators, I want to give some guidance on the business before us. So the other notices of motion from 7, Roman 7 to Roman 12 we defer until tomorrow. Questions and statements and under number 7, we defer them up to tomorrow. And then we go to under number 8, motion. Then we proceed with the normal business. The reason why I've suspended these statements up to tomorrow is that members were here, but now they have been disoriented somehow. So I don't want to drop any business of any member because the consequences are there for 3 months. Therefore, these statements will be rendered out tomorrow. So we proceed to order number 8.
Order number 8, motion celebrating the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo.
Majority.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion, which is a celebration of the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. That aware that the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County, passed away on Sunday, February the 16th, 2025, at the age of 57, while undergoing treatment. Cognizant that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms from 2008 to 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs from 2008 to 2013, Chairperson on the Committee of Delegated Legislation, members of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the House Business Committee, and Committee on Pensions 2013 to 2017, and the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs from 2017 to 2022. Further cognizant that the late William Cheptumo was elected Senator for Baringo County in 2022 and continued with his stellar legislative work in the Senate, having sponsored many businesses, amongst them a motion on the declaration of cattle rustling and banditry as a national disaster and establishment of a special fund for victims, which was adopted by the Senate on 30th of May 2024, and served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations, and as a member of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights, and that of the Land, Environment, and Natural Resources, which positions he served until his demise on 16th of February 2025. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Honorable William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County and the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations, records its appreciation for his contribution to public service spanning over 2 decades, recognizes the high esteem in which he was held by his colleagues from across the political divide, and the humble, principled, and dedicated manner in which he undertook his duties, and offers its profound sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, Baringo County, and the nation at large. Mr. Speaker, this is an extremely difficult exercise. If you had asked me that a few, perhaps weeks or days ago, that part of the business that we'll be considering on a solemn afternoon like this will be to pass a message of condolences on any of our 67 colleagues, Mr. Speaker, it will be the last thing off the top of my mind. But such is life, Mr. Speaker, that we don't have control, control, Mr. Speaker, of what happens, and unfortunately, we have lost our distinguished colleague, the Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. It's really unfortunate, it's tragic, it's a big loss, Mr. Speaker, but as the Bible tells us, few are the days of every human being, and before any human life begins, it is so written, the day that it shall begin, up to the day where life comes to an end. Our colleague has left us, Mr. Speaker, and we want to do this great honor that Senate has established a very solemn tradition of ensuring that in the unfortunate occurrence of loss of a colleague, that we grant an opportunity to all of us to commiserate with his family, his constituents, his friends, do a recording of all the things that we say about him, and have it
sent to the family. Mr. Speaker, perhaps that is why many colleagues were wondering earlier. Why? Because we had another colleague from the National Assembly that we lost. Why we had to do a separate motion is because Senate, in its wisdom, established this distinct tradition. And if you go through the archives of all the colleagues that we have lost, you'll find what their colleagues at that particular time said about them. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge colleague senators to take time to say what they know, how they feel about Senator Cheptumo's loss and the things that they will remember him for. When we visited with the family yesterday, the daughter, that young girl called Chepto, asked of us, Mr. Speaker, that we say what we know about their father as a politician and the many things that they want to know about how we worked with him. Mr. Speaker, I believe that as colleagues, we feel this loss at a very deep level. I do not know if you will find, unlike many of us, Mr. Speaker, you will find a colleague who will tell you that we crossed paths with Cheptumo, disagreed, and perhaps exchanged word wrongly. You will never find, Mr. Speaker. This was a very peaceful character, humble, had experience and age on his side, wisdom to the maximum, and interacted with colleagues across the aisle with maximum decorum, Mr. Speaker. There's a lot for us, especially the younger legislators, to learn from him. For citizens to elect you for 1, 2, 3, and 4 times, Mr. Speaker, it confirms that there is something in your character that they appreciate. The people of Baringo saw greatness in this man. And we that have served with him in this house, Mr. Speaker, can attest and confirm that indeed this was a great human being. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, we are referring to him as the late, which is life and its many turns, Mr. Speaker. But we want to confirm to the family that the many great memories that we share with this distinguished leader shall remain with us. I celebrate Senator Cheptumo for his humility, Mr. Speaker, an extremely humble man, that despite my relatively young age compared to him, there is no day, Mr. Speaker, that we disagreed and he either pulled the age card, Mr. Speaker, on me or tried to shut down when he held a contrary view. Always, Mr. Speaker, humble to a fault, reminded me when he disagreed on any particular position or issue, he will walk into the office, slow, the way William Cheptumo is known to walk, and say, leader, I think you should reconsider your position on this because of A, B, C, D. It's something worth emulating, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure those that served under him in the National Security and Defense and Foreign Relations Committee can say a thing or two about him, Mr. Speaker. I mentioned yesterday when we went to his family, Mr. Speaker, that this gentleman, Senator William Cheptumo, was also very funny, though silent, that he appreciated humor that came with the work of politics that we do. That there is a particular clip of a young man in Baringo County when he was seeking to serve as a senator, going for his 4th term, who was recorded on video, ridiculing him and trying to say that, how can we promote someone to go to Form 4, meaning to get a 4th term, while there is no water, and listed so many other things. When he eventually made it here, I used to refer to him as Form 4, and he'd laugh about it, despite the fact that the circumstances under which he got that particular title. A good lesson to us, that as we serve in public service, not everybody will agree with us. Many people will criticize us, but Senator Cheptumo never took offense in that particular issue. There are many things that I'd wish to say, Mr. Speaker, but I know we still get the occasion with his family, with his friends, when we move on Saturday, the 1st of March, to lay him to rest in Baringo. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, I want to grant opportunity to the rest of my colleagues to also have a chance to say something about Senator William Cheptumo. I thank you. May his soul rest in peace. We continue to pray with his family. Commiserations also to the people of Baringo who have lost a great leader, and I believe that God will find way of granting them comfort. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the minority leader, Senator Wambua, Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Wambua of Kitui, to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Senator Wambua Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to second the motion celebrating the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. The Speaker, as the majority leader said, it is not easy to stand on the floor today and speak about Senator Cheptumo in past tense. It is not easy, Mr. Speaker. But we pray that God will continue to strengthen his family and strengthen us, his colleagues, as we prepare for the final send-off. The Speaker, I stand here to give a very personal account and testimony of my interaction with Senator Cheptumo. The Speaker, it will be remembered that sometimes last year, my county suffered several attacks from bandits, especially Kamoadas, and we had serious problems. We lost a lot of lives. I spoke to Senator Cheptumo, who was then chairing the Security Committee of the Senate, and I was shocked by the speed at which he acted on the matter. First, when I mentioned to him and showed him images of what was happening, Senator Cheptumo and I walked across the road to the office of the CS for Interior to register his disappointment that Kenyans could be killed in the manner that the people of Kitui are being killed by bandits. Immediately after that, Mr. Speaker, can you, Mr. Speaker, I have a request to make. Mr. Speaker, I have a request to make. Mr. Speaker, we are mourning a colleague. I would just wish that we just do this quietly and silently in honor of our colleague, if that is possible, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we went to the office of the CS for Interior, and when we came back to the Senate, right away, Senator Cheptumo organized a trip to Kitui County, specifically to Mother Ward, where we had that problem. The Speaker, I remember you were a part of that delegation, and I think Senator Mbugua also was a part of that delegation. We went to Mother. We had a meeting with the security team, but again, Senator Cheptumo was not satisfied with the meeting that we had with the security team and insisted that we must go and speak to the people in the market, in the Mother market, to listen to the views of the people who are affected by the bandit attack. And I remember a few colleagues were asking him whether we could take a break to have lunch, and he said, we are not going to have lunch until we speak to every person that has been affected by this thing. Mr. Speaker, that was Senator Cheptumo, a man that put duty first, a man who never believed in political divisions or differences when it came to national duty. Mr. Speaker, today we are mourning a great man, a great Kenyan, a great leader. So, Mr. Speaker, on my behalf and on behalf of the people of Kitui County, and specifically the people of Mother Ward, I want to pass our condolences to the family, friends, and relatives of Senator William Cheptumo. The Speaker, as he condoled the family, I also shared another important aspect in life with Senator Cheptumo. I am an elder of the African Inland Church in Wilson Airport, ASC Wilson Airport. Senator Cheptumo was an elder at the African Inland Church in Langata. Both belong to the same district church council. And so as a church, the African Inland Church, we have also lost a very dependable, reliable church elder. A speaker to the African Land Church through the presiding bishop, Reverend Abraham Olwa, and the Nairobi area bishop, Reverend Joshua Kemoyo, we also offer our condolences to the church. The speaker, with those many remarks, I pray to God that he shall continue to strengthen and comfort the family of our departed colleague, and that his soul shall rest in God's eternal peace. The speaker, I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that aware that the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County, passed away on February 16, 2025 at the age of 57 while undergoing treatment. Cognizant that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North Constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms from 2008 to 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs 2008-2013, Chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, Member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the House Business Committee and the Committee on Pensions 2013-2017, and the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs 2017-2022. Further, cognizant that the late William Cheptumo was elected Senator for Baringo County in 2022, and continued with his stellar legislative work in the Senate, having sponsored many business, among them a motion on declaration of cattle rustling and banditry as a national disaster and establishment of a special fund for victims, which was adopted by the Senate on 30th May 2024, and served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, and as a member of the Standing Committee of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, and that of Land, Environment and Natural Resources, which positions he served until his demise on 16th February 2025. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Honorable William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County and Chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, records its appreciation for his contribution to public service, spanning over 2 decades, recognizes the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues from across the political divide, and the humble, principled, and dedicated manner in which he undertook his duties, and offers its profound sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, Baringo County, and the nation at large. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, the system is not working, so with the raise of hands, I will call upon the Senators. Just one moment, please, Senators. You know, I cannot write that fast. I already have some Senators who are going to start immediately, and because I know there's a lot of interest, and almost everybody would want to speak, can we agree at a time limit for how long we can speak? Okay. Let us go with 5 minutes. I'm sure some members will have a lot to say our late colleague. So we'll cap it at 5 minutes, and please let's try and be as brief and concise as possible. So I will start with Senator Sifuna.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. As you know that this is my first term of Parliament, so I have only had 2 years, about 2.5 years to interact with the late Senator Cheptumo. And indeed, as the Majority Leader confirmed, yesterday when we went to the residence and we met his wife, Anne, his daughter Chepto, and his son, Andrew, both very brilliant young children. Honorable Speaker, there was a request by the young Chepto that we share anecdotes about our experience with their father in this particular house. I remember when I received this news, I put out a tweet saying that I remember Senator Cheptumo as one of the cooler heads in the Senate. And his son asked me what I meant by that. And I explained to him that sometimes, and especially in the early days of this house, in the Swahili slang we say, mambo ilichemuka. And I do remember that there were very heated exchanges here because we had various fights. But Honorable Cheptumo was always the cool head. And the Majority Leader can attest as well that he had the capacity to be able to reach across the aisle and speak to us, those of us who were not elected on his political party. So, Honorable Speaker, my experience with him is that he was a consummate gentleman, that he was a gentle soul and a very cool head, somebody who was something of a father figure here, and I think it is because of his length of experience in these Houses of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Orange Democratic Movement Party, of which I'm the Secretary General, and as you know, in 2008, Honorable Cheptumo was elected on an ODM ticket, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the party leadership, including my party leader, the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the people of Nairobi and my family, to say pole to the family of the late Cheptumo and to assure them of our greatest consideration during this difficult time of mourning. Honorable Speaker, my last experience is that I thought during that time when things were heated in this house, there was tendency of people to rise on very frivolous points of order, especially against me. I'm not crying victim, but I do succinctly remember that some of the most genuine points of order when I was on the floor of this house, especially on constitutional matters, used to come from Senator Cheptumo. And he respected the rules of this house, and he only rose on points of order that actually were genuine. So I want to take this opportunity to say pole, and may God rest his soul in eternal peace. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii ambayo mmenipa kutoa rambirambi na pole kwa familia ya Mheshimiwa Cheptumo. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema hivi. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, mauti yamekuvika njuga. Nenda salama shujaa. Unakokwenda hatujui, lakini Mungu anajua. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umepigana vita hapa katika Senate kupambana dhidi ya magaidi, waporaji wa mifugo ya watu wako kule nyumbani. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umetunga sheria na katiba mpya ambayo tunashughulikia sasa. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umekuwa baba, umekuwa uti wa mgongo wa familia. Shujaa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Tutakutana baadaye. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, palipokuwa na bugdha na joto la kisiasa hapa Senate, Mheshimiwa Cheptumo ulituliza boli. Ulitupa mawaidha, ukatukana kwamba hasira za mkizi furaha ya mvuvi. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, sasa umetuacha wapweke. Umetuacha na simanzi. Umetuacha tukibubujikwa na machozi wakati huu mgumu wa kisiasa. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Wasalimu waliotangulia hapa Senate,
waambie tutafuata nyayo zao siku moja, lakini kwa sasa tutafuata yale uliyotangulia. Safiri salama Cheptumo, tutakutana baadaye. Katika usanjari huo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa pia kutoa rambirambi kwa familia ya Malulu Injendi. Kwa familia hiyo sasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, wamepoteza watu watatu. Ndugu mkubwa wa Malulu Injendi, Malulu mwenyewe, na dadake muda mchache uliopita amekata roho katika hospitali kule Kakamega. Mheshimiwa Malulu, uliweza kusoma chuo kikuu nilichosoma. Uliweza kuwa mwenyekiti wa halmashauri na bodi za shule kama mimi mwalimu. Mheshimiwa Malulu, wapigania watu wako ujenzi wa miundombinu, shule, barabara. Ulikuwa Mkatoliki wa imani. Mheshimiwa Malulu, tulitunga sheria za ufugaji na upanzi wa miwa na usagaji wa sukari, tukitaraji kwamba wakulima wako wa Malava watanufaika. Tulikuwa kwako na Mheshimiwa Rais, tukapeana chuo ama shule ya anuwai ya Chanderema, na wewe ulikuwa unajua kwamba watoto wetu wakinufaika katika masomo, siku zao za usoni zitakuwa salama. Mheshimiwa Malulu, tembea salama. Luere mwana wa mama, tutakutana Mungu akipenda. Asante sana na Mungu awalinde. Thank you.
Senator Oburu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to express my heartfelt condolences to the family of the late William Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, sir, William Cheptumo was not just a member and a colleague in Parliament, he was a personal friend. And Mr. Speaker, we have been with him in this Parliament for a long, long time. He found me in Parliament. He has served more than 4 terms. If you combine Yala, I'm now serving my 7th term. Mr. Speaker, he has been a very, very steadfast legislator. Cheptumo has been not only a steadfast legislator, but also a very, very, very consistent friend to many. He has developed relationships which were very deep. I can say that deep waters, still waters, run deep. Cheptumo was still waters which ran deep, because he knew the length and depth of all the legislative agenda which was in this Parliament. But he also developed very deep relationships with the members, where he became leader, where he was chairman. He was always very, very humble and very, very influential. He was influential, Mr. Speaker, because he could listen. Cheptumo used to listen, and he was a very good listener. If you want to be a good leader, you should be a good listener. You should not be lecturing on every issue and pretending to be a know-it-all, that you know everything in every subject. And Cheptumo proved this, and he came from an area which was very, very volatile, because that is an area where there is some conflict between communities. But he always stood above those conflicts. He always went and tried his best to solve the conflicts in a peaceful manner, and he worked for peace for his people. Mr. Speaker, he was also a very good family man, and he brought his family in a religious manner, and they are very, very humble. Mr. Speaker, this is because this man was a good leader, and he has shown this country leadership, and we hope that the Almighty God will place his great soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Mundingi.
Asanti Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia kwa seneta mwenzetu ambaye aliaga dunia. Yangu ni rambirambi yangu mimi seneta wa Embu County na watu wa Embu County, tukisema ni pole sana kwa watu wa Mbaringo kwa sababu ya kuachwa na ule ambaye mlichagua. Asanti Bwana Spika, kulingana na historia ambaye tumeifuatilia siku ya leo, Mheshimiwa Senator William Septumo amechaguliwa kwa mihula 4, na ni pole sana kwa watu wa Mbaringo kwa sababu kuchagua mtu kwa mihula 4 sio kitu ya rahisi. Ni kumaanisha alikuwa anafanya kazi na wizara zote, akina mama, wazee, watoto na makanisa yote. Kwa hiyo ningeomba Bwana Spika, watu wa Mbaringo muweze kuvumilia yale yametendeka, kwa sababu tunajua katika ulimwengu huu Bwana Spika hakuna mtu ataishi, sisi tutaenda. Kwa hiyo ningeomba watu wa Mbaringo muombe vizuri kwa juu ya familia ya Mr. Septumo kwa sababu ya ameondoka. Ya pili Bwana Spika, ni kuomba watu wa Mbaringo wakati ule uchaguzi itafika mtaweza kuchagua Sunjaa kama Senator Septumo, kwa sababu hata nakumbuka mwaka wa 2020, mwaka wa 2000 ile wakati tulichaguliwa alikuwa anang'ang'ana na kinara wa siasa Bwana Spika ambaye ni kijana ambaye ni ya rais mstaafu na alikuwa pesa nyingi. Lakini nyinyi watu wa Mbaringo hamkuweza kuangalia zile pesa, hamkuangalia familia, hamkuangalia nini, mliangalia usunjaa wa mtu ambaye ule angeweza kufanya kazi. Bwana Spika, mimi niko na huzuni sana chukua watu wa Embu County, kwa sababu nakumbuka wakati Septumo alikuwa mgonjwa, kamati ya security mara mingi imekuwa ikiahirisha kutembea katika Embu County, Tharaka Nithi na Meru juu ya kitu yaitwa Murasi tukomugoka. Ningeomba ule atachaguliwa kwa hii kamati ya security aweze kufanya kazi kama ile Septumo angeweza kufanya security na kuangalia mambo kama hii, kwa sababu sisi tulikuwa tunamngoja kila wakati kamati ikitengenezwa siku ile itakuja, Septumo amekuwa mgonjwa, inaahirishwa. Kwa hiyo ningeomba sisi wote tuko na huzuni, lakini kwa sababu kifo hakuna kusimamisha, ingekuwa ni ile ya hospitali sisi tungesanga, watu wengine wangechanga, lakini sasa kifo hakuna mtu anaweza kusimamisha. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi Senator wa Embu County na watu wa Embu County ni pole sana kwa watu wa Mbaringo. Hapo tu Bwana Spika, ningesema pole kwa MP ambaye ni wa Marapa ambaye ni Njendi. Katika senator wote MP wale katika parliament najua ni senator ambaye ni mtu ako na usunjaa ya ukanisa, na hapo ndio tulikuja tukajua naye. Kwa hiyo nasema watu wa Marapa ni pole sana hata nyinyi, kwa sababu kipo Mungu aweze kuwapeleka pahali pasuri, lakini ningeomba watu wa Marapa na watu wa Mbaringo muweze wakati uchaguzi itakuja mchague senator mzuri na MP mzuri. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi na watu wa Embu County tunasema ni pole, na pia tunasema Mungu aweze kuwarasa pahali pazuri ambapo wakati wa kuvuka, wakati wa Yesu Kristo akikuja tutaweza kuvuka pamoja na wale. Asante Bwana Spika. Asante. Mimi Daktari Mundigi, Senator wa Embu County.
Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to join my colleagues in saying pole to our brother, late Senator Cheptumo, on my behalf and the people for Isiolo. I say pole. It's not easy, Mr. Speaker. I interacted with Senator Cheptumo 2015 when we were asked, both National Assembly and the Senate, to chair the controversial National Security Act Amendment Bill. That was 2015, and that is when I actually met Senator Cheptumo, when he was a member of parliament then. Mr. Speaker, I have interacted with so many colleagues in this house, but none like Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo was a person who is very humble, down to earth, very peaceful, very consultative, and you will not find him anytime annoyed. Mr. Speaker, I worked with Senator Cheptumo in the Security Committee where he was the chair. And he had a lot of respect for everyone, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when he fell ill, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo is not somebody who will tell you I'm sick. He will always say, niko sawa tu, naendelea vizuri. Many a times we really wanted to visit him at home, even when he was in the hospital and when he was at home. He will say he's okay. We tried even booking an appointment to go and see him at home. He says no. He's somebody who is really doesn't want to disturb people, Mr. Speaker. He was committed to issues of insecurity in his county, issues of insecurity in many parts of this country, issues of cattle rustling, issues of minority. And I remember one time in the Committee of National Security and Foreign Relations, he said we should even establish a welfare committee within the committee. That is how much Senator Cheptumo was concerned about welfare of each and everyone. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine sometimes we have an early meeting, but Senator Cheptumo will tell you, Senator Dulo, can you chair a meeting for me today? Because it's hard for me to wake up early before 9 o'clock. That, concern that he will not make it and he will request somebody else to sit in for him. He will struggle to come to the house. He will struggle to come to the house because he doesn't want to offend anybody. Mr. Speaker, I know it's not easy, especially for the family, being the father of a family. And in life, Mr. Speaker, the worst loss is the loss of a father and the loss of a husband. And I believe that is what the family is going through. Baringo, yes, they have lost a leader. And of course, by the time, even before he is buried, people will be running who will succeed him. That is how life is. But for the family, nobody will replace Senator Cheptumo for them, for the rest of their life, and also the family members. We pray for the family. It's not easy, and I hope they will overcome it. It's part of life. And everybody is going to test the death in our lives. Mr. Speaker, I say pole to the family, and we need to hold together as colleagues. We have lost many colleagues in this house, and every time Senate stood with each other. And I hope Majority Leader will be able to announce the date of the fundraiser for the family. We should be able to be there, all of us, to contribute to it. And we pray that God will rest his soul in peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Joe Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also come to eulogize and pass my message of condolence to the family, friends of Senator Cheptumo and the people of Baringo in general. Mr. Speaker, we thank God for the 57 years that he gave to Senator Cheptumo. We know that many are born and they never attain even the age of months. Some of them die in the maternity wards, Mr. Speaker. And so I think we need to thank God for the 57 years that he gave to Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo achieved a lot in just 57 years. Elected 4 times, 3 times in the National Assembly and 1 time in the Senate. Not many people are able to achieve that kind of feat. And so even as we mourn Senator Cheptumo, again, we need to thank God for the many achievements that he gave to Senator Cheptumo within a very short time of his life. Mr. Speaker, I served with Senator Cheptumo in the liaison committee, which is the liaison of chairs. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo will not serve in that committee again because he's no longer with us. Mr. Speaker, I will also not serve in that committee because I'm not chair again. But Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo, the silent gentleman, the man who only spoke when he was sure he had something important or relevant to say, a man who did not speak for the sake of it. Mr. Speaker, this is a man that was special. This is somebody that was able to be very knowledgeable. Somebody who was, Mr. Speaker, never sycophantic. Senator Cheptumo only supported that which needed support, and not just for the sake of pleasing people somewhere else, anywhere, Mr. Speaker. As it has been said here by Senator Dulo, he will be replaced in Baringo at the right time. That is what happens. But the family will never have a father, a husband. Replacements happen, but families suffer. Families will never ever go over this loss, Mr. Speaker. And so I take this time to say, rest in peace, Senator Cheptumo. Go with God. May you find a humble and a good abode in God's hands. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I joined the House in conveying my condolences to the family of the late Senator Cheptumo. I've had the privilege of being in Parliament with Senator Cheptumo from the 11th Parliament, where I found him, the 12th Parliament, the 13th Parliament, and we have now served in the Senate Liaison Committee. I wish to extend my condolences to the family, especially the children who have been left behind, the spouse, and the direct family members. The people of Baringo have also lost a wise leader. Senator Cheptumo was very influential in this House. He was influential in a very quiet manner. He was not a heckler. He was not a noisemaker. He was not a person who sowed division. Mr. Speaker, you will attest that whenever Senator Cheptumo rose, even on a point of order, it was very substantive. And he went to the standing order and he was able to cite the specific matter that had been offended. He was not frivolous. He was very welcoming. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo was a peacemaker. In the Senate Liaison Committee, many a times we proposed very radical measures. You do recall at some point, Mr. Speaker, because of limited financing for committees, the Senate Liaison Committee deliberated and took a position that we are going to suspend the activities of committees. Mr. Speaker, even though that industrial action lasted only one night, but Senator Cheptumo was very useful in the conversations, giving us tips, giving us stories on how they've handled similar matters in the past. May the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. This House has had its own fair share of tragedy. Mr. Speaker, even as we mourn Senator Cheptumo, we know that the distinguished Speaker of this Senate is mourning his father. We just recently buried the father of Senator Kinyua from Laikipia. Mr. Speaker, this House, we have lost the late Senator Mutula, the late Senator Kajwang, the late Senator Kabaka, the late Senator Ben Oluoch Okello, the late Senator Gigi Karaoke. These are things that happen. We should not act as if there could be some targeting of the Senate. This is part of life. This is a cycle of life. We pray that the family will be strengthened. We pray that the people of Baringo will also find some comfort, and when the right time comes, they will make a decision to ensure that they continue to be represented. But we want to assure the people of Baringo that even if Senator Cheptumo is not with us today, that their interests will still be catered for by the remaining senators. One area that will be contentious will be the formula for sharing of revenue amongst counties. We want to assure the people of Baringo that even if Senator Cheptumo is not here, and even if they have not made a decision on their next senator, those of us who are remaining will ensure that Baringo does not lose even a single cent in any formula or in any arrangement when it comes to division and allocation of revenue. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I also convey my condolences to the family of the late Malulu Injendi, another member of parliament with whom I've been here from the 11th, 12th, and 13th parliament. May the Lord strengthen the people of Kakamega, the people of Baringo, and more so the family of our good friend, our departed friend, Senator Cheptumo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kinyua.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa Bwana Spika, kwa uchungu na huzuni nataka kuleta risala zangu za rambirambi kwa familia ya mwenda zake William Cheptumo. Bwana Spika, nikubalie kabla sijaleta risala zangu za rambirambi, nataka kuchukua fursa hii kuambia seneti hii shukrani sana, pamoja na wafanyikazi wote wa bunge na bunge la kitaifa Bwana Spika, kwa sababu juzi nilimpoteza baba yangu na seneti hii ilisimama na mimi pamoja na wafanyikazi wa bunge. Kwa hivyo sitaki kuchukulia jambo hilo kwa mzaha, nataka kuwashukuru kutoka pangu rohoni na niwaambie asanti na asanti sana. Bwana Spika, uchungu nilionao wa mimi kumpoteza mzazi, ninaelewa vile vile uchungu wa watoto na bimjane wanaopitia wa seneta wetu Cheptumo. Bwana Spika, Cheptumo ninamjua sana kwa sababu tulikuwa kiti hiki hapa katika bunge, amekuwa jirani yangu kwa miaka hiyo miwili tukiwa hapa. Na sio jirani yangu hapa Bwana Spika, amekuwa tena ni jirani yangu pale katika gatuzi zetu Laikipia na Baringo, tunapakana. Kwa hivyo mimi na yeye tumekuwa sisi ni kama ndugu wa kufa kuzikana Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, jambo ambalo tulikuwa tukiongea na yeye sana ni kuhusu usalama Laikipia na Baringo, hasa mambo ya hawa wezi wa mifugo. Na akaniambia kwamba kile ambacho atafanya akiwa kama mwenyekiti ni kujitolea kwa hali na mali ndio mambo ya usalama uweze kupatikana Laikipia Bwana Spika. Na nataka kumshukuru Bwana Spika kwa sababu yeye aliongoza kamati yake mpaka Laikipia tukapata askari wa ziada. Kwa hivyo nina kila sababu ya kumshukuru na ninamkumbuka vile kila wakati tukiketi pale alikuwa akiuliza mambo yanaendelea namna gani Laikipia. Bwana Spika, leo nikiwa nimeketi pale naona kile kiti hayuko, mimi napatwa na huzuni Bwana Spika, kwa sababu kila wakati tulikuwa tukiongea na yeye. Na si hiyo tu Bwana Spika, wakati kuna mijadala hapa, kwa sababu yeye ni wakili aliyebombea Bwana Spika, alikuwa ananipatia mawaidha, ananiambia vile ambavyo yeye anafikiria Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo nina hofu na nina huzuni Bwana Spika kwa kumpoteza rafiki na kumpoteza ndugu Bwana Spika. Sikudhania itafika wakati huu nikuwe nikiongea hapa kumuomboleza rafiki yangu na ndugu yangu Cheptumo Bwana Spika. Lakini yote 10 Bwana Spika, ni mpaka tukubali mambo ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Na kile ambacho kinanifurahisha Bwana Spika, hata ijapokuwa alikuwa na miaka 57 peke yake Bwana Spika, yale aliyotenda ni mengi. Amekuwa ni waziri, amekuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati tofauti, hasa kamati ya usalama. Bwana Spika, mimi nikakumbuka ya kwamba si miaka mingi ambayo utaishi duniani Bwana Spika, ni vile ambavyo utakavifanya ukiwa duniani. Bwana Spika, nikisoma katika kitabu kitakatifu cha Mungu, Biblia yangu inaniambia naye Methusela akaishi zaidi ya miaka 900, lakini hakuna kitu alifanya isipokuwa kuishi duniani. Naye Yesu akaishi miaka 33 na inaonyesha mambo aliyofanya Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vile ambavyo utakavyofanya itakavyokumbukwa. Bwana Spika, sitaki kumsahau Malulu Injendi, mbunge wa Malaba Bwana Spika, kwa sababu na yeye amechangia hasa kuhusu huu mswada wa wazee wa mitaani Bwana Spika. Na ikumbuke vizuri, kwa sababu hawa wazee wanasaidia sana katika uongozi, Bwana Spika, na ni vizuri vile Injendi alikuwa na ule mswada wa kuwakumbuka, Bwana Spika, ndio tuweze angalau kuwapa kinua mgongo waweze kuendelea na kazi ambayo wanapewa kufanya na wananchi, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, na vile vile namkumbuka mimi na yeye tukiwa Katoliki tunafuatilia mambo ya dini na yeye, kwa sababu alikuwa akionyesha kabisa, kila wakati nilimwona ameweka rozari yake ameivaa, kusema yeye ni Mkatoliki na haogopi, hana fedheha, na akasimama hivyo. Na mimi najua kwamba hata wakati ameenda binguni, wale walio binguni watamkiri, kwa sababu na yeye alipokuwa duniani alikiri imani. Nashukuru Bwana Spika na nasema asante.
Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in also sending condolences to the family of one of our own here, Senator Cheptumo, William Cheptumo, who passed on this week, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I served with Senator Cheptumo in the National Assembly, and he was such a dedicated, experienced, knowledgeable member of the National Assembly, and he steered several committees, the 2 committees of delegated legislation and the JLAC. And those were one of the most busiest committees in the National Assembly then. I know when you were serving with him in the National Assembly, he came up with legislation which were not very favorable to the Senate. But Mr. Speaker, when he came in here to the Senate, he accepted and apologized to the Senate that he was among the senators who were not very kind to the Senate. So he has gone to the Mecca, a man who believed in God and a man who did the best in terms of promotion of humanity. Mr. Speaker, we know Senator Cheptumo also was a very, very popular leader with his people. You know, in Baringo, the last election, he managed to beat seasoned politicians, including the KANU chairman, Honorable Moi, Gideon Moi. And he was elected to this house first through the ODM party. Those who don't know, Cheptumo joined this house, the National Assembly, in 2007 election as an ODM member for, is it Baringo North. And then later on, he transitioned to 2013, 2017, and now he was elected in 2022 as a senator for Baringo. So we have lost a great leader, a leader who understood the law, a seasoned lawyer, and I just want to express my sincere sadness and condolences to the people of Baringo for losing such an important icon in the society, a man who fought for the problem of cattle rustling in the northern part of the country by bringing even motions to this house to deal with matter. And I wish to request the house that now that we passed that motion on cattle rustling, we need to follow up and ensure that the recommendations that we passed in this house are implemented by the government. I wish to thank the members who have expressed their love for our colleague, that we also need to stand with the family at this critical time. And we also need to think about how well we should honor our departed colleagues. The majority leader has given some insights into that, and I think it's something that the Secretariat can look at it so that we honor our colleague in a very dignified way. Mr. Speaker, I want to wish him well, even as we plan to lay him in due course, and just wish that the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to join my colleagues in conveying condolences to the family and the great people of Baringo County for the passing on of our colleague, Honorable Senator William Kipkiror Jeptumo. Jeptumo, we were earmates in the university. He was in Parklands when I was in KU. Honorable Speaker, we cleared A-level at the same time. And I came closely and worked very closely with him from 2007. We both stood in ODM Bati, but he was lucky to be elected, but I lost. 2007, you know, that was the Bati then for the great people of Rift Valley. And I'm seeing we are also getting married again. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, around 2013 again, he stood, he was elected for the second time, and I came to Parliament. We met in the 11th Parliament. We worked very closely. He was the chair for delegated legislation, where I was a member, and he steered the committee. We passed so many regulations. If there was any issue with the regulations, he would guide the committee that these ones we are not going to pass. We will basically reject, and as a straightforward man, that is Jeptumo, Honorable Speaker. Within the same time, from 2013 to 2017, 10 of us in National Assembly from across the country, Honorable Speaker, we formed a caucus to visit our constituencies and fundraise. We gave each member to choose either 2 functions or 1 function, where each member will either raise, if it is 2 functions, 50,000 each, or if it is 1 function, it's 100,000, Honorable Speaker. And we moved Baringo twice. They came to Marakwet West. We went to Tesa North, across. And Jeptumo was basically our team leader. We have lost a great man, Honorable Speaker. 2017, 2022, we also came back in the 12th Parliament, and he became the chair of CHAILAC, Honorable Speaker, and there are very many laws that he was able to pass, especially the constitutional laws and the IBC laws, Honorable Speaker, and he stood. And we were members of liaison committee then, because I was the chair of ICT, Honorable Speaker. We want to tell the people of Baringo, Pole sana for the laws of your senator. May the Almighty Lord give you peace, strength, comfort. And Honorable Speaker, again, we met in Senate, and recently, before he became Hill, Honorable Speaker, we had to go to Elgeyo Marakwet County because there is a petition that came to this house from County Assembly of Elgeyo Marakwet County to declare banditry as terrorism. And we were there with Jeptumo. We spoke with our MCs. We also met the governor. And I'm happy that motion was passed. And as Senator Osota said, we need to follow the implementation so that anybody who will engage in basically banditry in the country, they should be treated like a terrorist, Honorable Speaker, because we cannot afford our people to lose lives and to lose livestock because of just this small thing called banditry, which is very backward, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to tell members we were there yesterday with the family, and on Tuesday, the 25th, is when we have the main Arambe at AIC Milibani. So colleagues, let's all be there to support the family. Thank you very much, and may the Almighty Lord rest his soul in eternal peace.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Seki, have you moved to the minority side? Very well, Senator Seki. And be brief, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also take my this opportunity time to thank you, Honorable Speaker. and to give my and convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of Honorable William Cheptumo, who happens to be a good friend of mine. We happened that we were together in one committee of national security. And I want to say that this is a very sad moment to this Senate and to the entire nation, the people of Baringo, whom Senator Cheptumo represents. Honorable Speaker, I happen to be a very close friend to Honorable William Cheptumo, particularly on the wealth and kind of experience that he has in regards to issues of legislations, issues of parliament, and the shared experiences that we shared with him when he was a chair of national security. I want to convey that this gentleman was a very great man, a very humble person, a very knowledgeable person, a person who understands quite a lot of things, particularly when it comes to issues of parliament, procedures and all that. And when he's chairing the committee, he's very passionate, he's very, strong to his points. At times he puts people off, particularly those stakeholders that we invite to committee. And at times, I remember William will engage the National Security Council, the National Police Service Commission, the IG, the CS for Interior, for us to get to understand more and more about the committee and the procedures of government. I remember Mheshimiwa Cheptumo being a colleague who is not jealous, a person who is very passionate, a person who is willing to, to teach and even guide people, correct us, particularly those who are also very new in parliament. So I want to convey my condolences to the family and to the people of Baringo that this is a great man, and they were not wrong for him to have been elected as a member of the Senate to represent the people of Baringo. Honorable Speaker, I want to I even remember one of the last moments that we had with Honorable Cheptumo when we were chairing a committee on national security on a petition regarding the police who have been injured while they were in service. I remember that particular incident where he almost convenes a meeting of all the insurance companies, NHIF, that is now SHA, and many, many other institutions, which he was trying to bring in the point where he want to understand why NHIF, SHA, has not compensated those people who have been injured, the police that have been injured while they're in service. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this is a great man. We believe that God will help the family, give them a protection, and strengthen the family at this very sad moment. And going forward, we will continue to be with them and pray for them. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also like to join my colleagues in eulogizing our departed colleague. When we came to the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, as first-timers, the so-called ranking members did not spare any moment to make us feel little and knowledgeable. And at times, Mr. Speaker, they treated us with a certain degree of contempt. Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo was one of the few who had held our hands, worked with us, and even told us which standing order to invoke when you want to rise up. He would even go to the extent of telling you the constitution that you should quote. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, was to me most welcoming, and he made us, the newcomers, feel at home. Mr. Speaker, sir, the likes of Senator Shelagay, the likes who've been here, when they stood here, Mr. Speaker, they made us feel disoriented, and at times they used words that we could not understand, and we wondered whether we'll one day stand and debate in this House. But Senator Cheptumo was one of the few who tell us, just take your time. It will be shaky at the beginning, but with time, you'll master the art of debate. With time, you'll master the art of convincing, and at times even the art of winning a debate. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand here to mourn a colleague who, when this House was faced with one of the most hard decisions, we consulted, and I do recall, Mr. Speaker, he pushed, and near before that moment came, that we have a meeting so that we, as the senior elders in the House, we could give directions to what at that time was threatening to tear the country apart. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, will forever remain entrenched in my heart, a person who looked beyond tribal politics, a man who looked beyond regional politics, a person who thought about the youth, and most importantly, about the integrity and the unity of a country. This is the man that we are eulogizing today. This Senator William Cheptumo, somebody who kept our hope burning even when we thought, as the majority side, that the minority was having their way in way of making a lot of noise. He could use the word tulieni itaisha. That, Mr. Speaker, to me, was the humility. I do remember yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when we went to visit the family, that the kids told us to say something we know about their father. In that, Mr. Speaker, I could tell the pain of them losing their father. Age 57, Mr. Speaker, in African standard, even in the biblical standard, is too young. We know the Bible says we have 70 years to live. But again, Mr. Speaker, this is an occurrence that reminds us we are temporary in this world, our days are numbered, and therefore when we are serving our people, we should do it with a lot of humility, and knowing that nobody is guaranteed that you'll have to go see the whole term of 5 years. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I pass my condolences to the family and to my colleagues and to the people of Baringo, I would also want to take the opportunity to mourn with the people of Kakamega who also lost their member of parliament. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, such a moment reminds us that our days are numbered in this world, and therefore we should always, through prayers and supplication, remember that our Creator knows the day that we'll depart. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to end it there by telling the family, it is well, in the hands of the God, we leave you, we'll continue praying for you. Rest well, Senator William Cheptumo. Thank you.
Professor Ugenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are assembled in the House this afternoon to commiserate with the family of the late William Cheptumo, who was not only a friend, but a classmate, a colleague in the profession, and an outstanding senator serving his 4th term in the House. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo's demise came at a time when we were deeply involved in the elections of the AUC, in the African Union chairperson of the Commission in Addis Ababa. We learned painfully that our colleague had departed, and as we came back to Kenya, we joined his family in mourning and in celebrating his life. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo's demise should be a lesson to this country, a lesson that we need to pull together in the direction of peace, a lesson, as this House has shown this afternoon, that we must pull together both the minority side and the majority side on the side that unites this country, Mr. Speaker, sir. In spite, Mr. Speaker, of the loss of the election at the AUC by my party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, it is instructive that what we learn from the passing of our colleague is that this country needs all of us. Irrespective of the fact that Senator Cheptumo sat on the majority side, the minority side are now joined at the hip in mourning the departure of the senator. In the same vein, Mr. Speaker, sir, even though the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga may not have won the elections at the African Union, we as a country must use this opportunity to pull together because we have a country to run. We must ensure that we join together in working with the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto to ensure that this country grows to prosperity. And that is the lesson that this brings to us this afternoon. A lesson of peace, a lesson of togetherness, a lesson that we are tied together at the hip as Kenyans and that we must work for the success of this country. We mourn Senator Chepkumo, a good friend, a colleague, and my classmate. May God rest his peace, his soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the onset, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of my family, the great people of Nandi County, to pass our deepest condolences for the demise of our beloved colleague, Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, famously known in Baringo County by the nickname Lebaluk, or the Egnima in Baringo politics. Mr. Speaker, I commiserate with the wife, with the people of Baringo for losing their beloved senator, who also happened to have been the chairperson of National Security, Foreign Relations and Defense Committee. Mr. Speaker, I've known Senator Cheptumo when we served together in the last session, when I was Senator of Nandi and he was a member of Parliament of Baringo North constituency in Baringo County. Coincidentally, Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo served as the counterpart of the Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee in the National Assembly. Myself, Mr. Speaker, I served then, before the infamous de-whipping, as the chairperson of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights in this House, Mr. Speaker. Although I am his junior in profession, Mr. Speaker, sir, both politically and in terms of practice, in the legal practice of this country, Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo did not look down upon me. He used to encourage me, and he used to say, itakuwa sawa. Mr. Speaker, after, even when we began, when he was able to be elected as the Senator of Baringo, when, you know, some of us are rambunctious, Mr. Speaker, and we shoot straight from the hip, after an episode, an interlude of weekend, high-octane politics, where I always play number 9, Mr. Speaker, he would tell me, you did well, ulimaliza mtu. Mr. Speaker, and he could laugh about it and we could enjoy about it, Mr. Speaker. So Senator Cheptumo, having served as the chair delegate, he was assistant minister, he was the chair of national security, he was the chair of justice. Mr. Speaker, for 4 elections, Senator Cheptumo has never lost a single election. I think for some of us, we need to study in his school of politics, because how can you survive not to be defeated in 4 straight elections? And we know the Kenyan elections are normally closed, Mr. Speaker. So Senator Cheptumo did best, Mr. Speaker. The family and the children, we are with you in thoughts, Mr. Speaker. And he did a lot, especially in national security, where we're having issues like abduction, issues of extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances, issues of police welfare and national security welfare. He was very passionate. Even, Mr. Speaker, the current Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kanja, was being vetted and approved by the Joint Committee where Senator Cheptumo was the co-chair, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I want to thank him because he was instrumental in the passage of my bill of the prevention of livestock and produce theft, where it is now in the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the people of Baringo and appeal to them. In honor and legacy of Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo Lebeluk, as is known in the politics of Baringo, please maintain peace in Baringo and the entire North Rift in honor of our fallen colleague, because he was a champion against insecurity in that region, Mr. Speaker. In our local language, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the people of Baringo and the family, Mutia Mising, Ngogona Kimnate Jehovah, I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Poleni sana.
Senator Hamida.
Asante Bwana Spika, na mimi pia ninasimama hapa kuunga mkono wenzangu kwa kutoa rambirambi ya kumpoteza shujaa mwenzetu mbunge wa Baringo North, Senator William Cheptumo. Kwa niaba ya Kewosa pia natoa rambirambi, na sote kama wamama wa Kewosa tunasema pole kwa jamaa na marafiki wa Senator Cheptumo. Kusema kweli sikufanya kazi karibu na yeye Senator Cheptumo, Bwana Spika, lakini nilimjua na tulifanya kazi kwa muda kidogo upande wa komiti ya Shakahola. Lakini hapo ndio niliweza kumjua vizuri na nikaelewa kazi yake vile anaendesha. Alikuwa ni mtu wa kutaka kujua uaminifu na kutaka kazi yake iwe safi, ili kusibakie na kichochote ama na doa la kuuliza kwa nini hii kazi hamkuimaliza vizuri. Senator Cheptumo, Bwana Spika, kusema kweli amekufa kishujaa. Alikuwa akija hapa seneti, na ukimuona ni kuwa hata ukimsogelea unamuuliza na kuona kama hausikii vizuri, anakuambia hapana, mimi niko sawa kabisa. Na hata siku moja na nimekuja kuangalia na wenzangu ya kuwa hakuweza kukaa na kujihurumia mwenyewe na kuambia watu wengine kuwa hayuko sawa. Kila mara atakwambia yeye yuko sawa na wala hana ugonjwa wowote. Kwa hivyo tutasema, kusema kweli, hiyo ni kufa kishujaa. Kufa yani na ugonjwa wako, na hakutaka watu ili waweze kumuonea huruma. Na kwa Kiislamu sisi tunasema inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Kwa yeye Mungu ama Allah tunatoka, na yeye tu hapo ndio tutarudi. Kwa hivyo Mungu, kile sisi tunapenda yeye anakipenda zaidi. Kwa hivyo kaka yetu ametangulia na sisi tuko nyuma yake. Rambirambi nyingine nitatoa kwa mbunge mwenzetu Bwana Injendi, na yeye kweli sikumjua vizuri, manake hii ni tamu yangu ya kwanza, na yeye pia kwake, kwa familia na kwa constituency yake tunatoa pole, na ni rambirambi kwa kutoka Kewosa. Pia Mungu aiweke, ailaze hizi roho mbili, azilaze mahali pema peponi, na wale wengine pia walotangulia tunawaombea pia Mungu waweke mahali pema peponi. Asante.
Senator Esi.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa nafasi hii. Nami ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kutoa pole zangu nikimwomboleza marehemu Senator Cheptumo wa bunge la eneo la kaunti ya Baringo. Na wakati mwingine nikiangalia maisha haya huwa ninashangaa kwa sababu Bwana Spika, kama siku ya leo mimi ninasherekea siku ya kuzaliwa, na wakati huo pia ninaomboleza kumpoteza Seneta Cheptumo. Lakini nikirejelea maneno ya mwandishi wa vitabu William Shakespeare, ambaye alisema kuwa ulimwengu ni ukumbi wa michezo na kila mtu ana nafasi yake. Ningependa kusema kuwa Seneta Cheptumo alikuwa na nafasi yake ya kuhudumia wakazi wa Baringo kwa miaka hiyo ambayo tumeitaja hapa, na kazi ya Mwenyezi Mungu haina makosa. Pengine ilikuwa ni mpango ya Mwenyezi Mungu kuwa mpumzishe wakati huu, lakini sisi kama viongozi ambao wanakuwa tunajifunza unyenyekevu ambao Seneta Cheptumo aliokuwa nao. Seneta Cheptumo tulikuwa tunakaa naye pale nyuma, kwa lugha ya Kimombo backbenchers, na kipindi fulani aliniita kuniuliza, hivyo Kenyuri wewe umepangaje maisha yako? Na nikiangalia ninaona ni kama ni baba ambaye alikuwa ananiona mimi kama msichana mdogo, na pengine angependa kutoa wosia wake jinsi nitakavyojipanga katika mambo haya ya siasa na uongozi. Kwa hayo nitamkosa sana, na ninaomba kuwa Mwenyezi Mungu ailaze roho yake mema pahali pema, na kwa wakazi wa Baringo natoa pole zetu kabisa, na nikisema kwa lugha ya Kikalenjin, mutio missing. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Senator Beatrice.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also pass my condolence to Senator Cheptumo's family and the Baringo County members and Kenyans at large, and to the Senate, where he was an outstanding member. Honorable Speaker, just last evening, we went to condole with the family of our brother, Senator Cheptumo, and I want to tell the family that we feel for you. But from the observations we had as we sat with the family, led by the loving wife of Senator Cheptumo, Madam Hannah Cheptumo, and the lovely children, we were encouraged as members of the Senate because we saw a very compact family led by Hannah Cheptumo. We could see their strength amidst the challenges they have had. We know our brother has been unwell for some time. Honorable Speaker, I mourn Senator Cheptumo as a colleague in the Senate. We also shared a committee of lands, environment, and natural resources, where Senator Cheptumo, because of his background, because of being a ranking member of parliament, and because of his background in law, he was a source of direction in the committee, and actually, Honorable Speaker, we will miss him. I happen to have met Senator Cheptumo with the loving wife one time at Nairobi Hostel when they went for their routine checkup. And I can tell you that the family is promising. The wife he leaves behind is a caring woman, and I want to encourage her and the family that there's a time for everything. There's a time for life and a time when you lose it, and it is actually biblical. Senator Cheptumo was a calm legislator, as has been demonstrated by all the colleagues that have been here, and we mourn with him, with his family, and may our brother rest in peace. Honorable Speaker, I also want to mourn with the people of Malava constituency, where we have also lost Mheshimiwa Honorable Malulu Ijendi, who was equally a gentleman, a calm man, a man who did not want to lose his identity and his religion. A number of us do not have the courage to say who they are or to demonstrate even where they worship. But Honorable Ijendi was an outright person who demonstrated where his religion is. Honorable Speaker, I also equally had an encounter with Honorable Malulu Ijendi when, as a member of the ICT Committee of the Senate, I was given an opportunity to attend a World Forum in Vegas. There was a joint committee from the Senate and the National Assembly, and Mheshimiwa Ijendi was amongst the delegates from the National Assembly. He came out as a very caring legislator who ensured that all members of the delegation were together in most of the activities that we encountered. I was also very proud of him that Honorable Ijendi worked on a bill on how to compensate the village elders. We were looking forward to that compensation. And Honorable Speaker, before I end my speech, I wanted to also congratulate the resilience of one honorable former Prime Minister, one Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, that this is a man who has demonstrated statesmanship. That when Baba Raila Amolo Odinga was leaving for Addis, he stated out to everybody publicly that if he gets it, better, the better for us. But even if he does not get it, still, he said it was fine. And we want to say that Baba has done his best for this country. And I want to say that Raila Amolo Odinga did not lose. It is Kenya that lost that election. I want to remind Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, that there's one icon, Nelson Mandela, who said that do not judge me by my success, but judge me by how many times I fall and I'm able to rise again. I want to assure the country that Baba Raila Amolo will rise again. And we want to tell Kenyans and everybody who cares to listen that Baba got over 7 million votes in 2022. That is a man that Kenyans cannot assume. This morning I saw the Standard say, taming Raila. We want to tell them that nobody in this republic can tame Raila Amolo Odinga. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Abbas Sheikh.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues to condole the families and people of Baringo for the demise of our colleague, William Chumtumo. Honorable Speaker, I have known William for the last 15 years. I joined him in the Land Parliament. We were together, we're good friends. And we were actually in a sitting arrangement in the Senate. He was my neighbor, and as a soft-spoken person, but was full of humor and wisdom. William Chumtumo is a man who many people believe that he's not somebody who speaks well. I mean, he doesn't speak to people. But he's a man, when you sit with him and make story with him, he was full of humor. He was somebody with a lot of wisdom. Honorable Speaker, as much as he was soft-spoken, he is somebody who was firm in his decisions. He stood firm on all decisions that he was making, especially in terms of making decisions in time of voting and all this. Honorable Speaker, I want to also condole his family and the Baringo people, and I wish to tell them that to have heart. And for those people in Baringo, since they have been electing William for almost 4 times or 5 times, I think, I want them to reward. He's a man who loved peace. He's a man who foresaw that caste legislation will be ended immediately. And therefore, to reward him, I will ask the people from Baringo, the people of Baringo, who have been electing all these years, to see the dreams of William Chumtumo is achieved by exercise in peace and live in peace with all and harmony, as the entire county is full of always cattle hustling. But we must reward our colleague and send him off with peace. Besides that, I want also, on the same breath, I want to also join my colleagues also to condole the family of Honorable Molulu JD. I also met in JD in the same parliament, 11th parliament. We have been very close friends at the same committees. And I think he's a man, I know him whenever I see him, you know, he used to wear a very big chain with a big cross. That shows that he's a man who loves God, who was near God. And I believe, and for the time I learned him, he's a man who was so focused. He's a man who wanted to at least do great things for his Malava people. And I wish them also, let them all the best, and the family to take heart, and the people of Malava to also remember and reward the deceased and the family of Honorable late Molulu. With those few remarks, I beg to support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Mofaya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I want my colleagues in eulogizing my very good friend. I used to call him Chairman, Senator Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I had the opportunity to engage with Senator Cheptumo for the last 2.5 years I've been around. And Honorable Speaker, I want to make some confessions in this house that Senator Cheptumo has been a very, very, very man and a gentleman, somebody very connected. I remember even during the heights of political confrontations, the very first time that when we came here, Senator Cheptumo never took sides. He was very calm. He would calmly say things are going to be okay. And it manifested some very serious levels of maturity. Honorable Speaker, all through any other time when you met Cheptumo, you would just see some serious elements of leadership in him. And no wonder he entered the trust of the Baringo people who gave him an opportunity to serve in Baringo constituency for close to 3 terms, I think 3 terms, and then he got the 4th term. That was not a small region, Honorable Speaker. And I want to urge our colleagues to make sure that, because one day, one time, we shall also be out of this world, please try to make sure that you do some good things so that when you go, your colleagues will be able to say some kind ones about us. So, Honorable Speaker, now that I had the opportunity to engage with Honorable Cheptumo, we wish his family well. I know the family is so much pained now that they have lost a father, they have lost a husband, they have lost a brother, they have lost an uncle, and it's something very painful, Honorable Speaker. And to the people of Baringo, I wish them well, and I'm giving my condolences on behalf of my family, the people of Tharaka-Nithi who have elected me, and on behalf of any other person who knows General Cheptumo for that matter. For that respect, Honorable Speaker, I want to extend also my condolences to the MP for, I think Malanda something, Mr. Marulu, who has been a fellow Catholic. I've met him on several occasions, very correct and person, very humble, and let him rest in peace. We also extend my condolences to the family and make sure that at these trying moments, they are at peace with themselves, and we wish the two of them a peaceful and let them rest in peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a sad time for the Senate, and particularly for members of the National Security Committee who worked very closely with the late Senator Cheptumo. I have been serving as his chair since we constituted that committee. I'm sorry, as his vice chair, since we constituted that committee. And I really admired his commitment. He was always in time for every meeting. He was always willing to go the extra mile. I remember him as a very fair chair. Whenever we had an issue, especially on welfare of members, if you approached him privately, he would make sure that we have a meeting, not in camera. No, a meeting in camera. The meeting where we don't have Hansard in camera. We have a meeting in camera, and he sorts your issue right in front of other members so that you will not get to hear murmurs after that issue has been sorted for one individual member. And Mr. Speaker, I think I knew a side of Senator Cheptumo that very few members got to know. He had a very cheeky side. He was full of sense of humor. Whenever you saw me having walked to his seat, I used to do that a lot to consult. When I walked to his seat, we were laughing the whole time because he said the silliest things, so to speak. And to me, he was a friend. And I also met his family because I could go to his law firm, where his law firm is in Upper Hill, in the course of work. And his commitment to the last minute, Mr. Speaker, he came for meetings even when he was sick. He tried his best. And if he missed a meeting, it is because he could absolutely not make it. Chair, if you remember, because you're part, Mr. Speaker, if you remember, because you're part of that committee, there's a meeting he actually came, supported by his wife in Mombasa. And that time, he was quite weak, but he made the sacrifice and made sure that he was part of that very crucial meeting. And I want to say that we are going to miss Senator Cheptumo. To the people of Baringo, we mourn with you. To his widow and his children, I want to convey my heartfelt condolences during this hard time. I know, as a believer, God is going to be your peace, and he's going to give you grace to survive this hard time. I want to convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of Member of Parliament, Malulu Jendi. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Edie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. It is indeed a very sad moment for the two houses of Parliament. And I know that on 1st of March, that is just next month, a few weeks, we as a Senate will be going to the village of Tinaiwo, Batabwa Ward in Baringo North County, Arab Moi Secondary School, to mourn a man who was indeed the real example of what living life of service and life of duty looks like. This is somebody who, I remember his politics came as an encouraging political moment, because just like some youngsters that I'm seeing here who went through an electoral process, he did a fantastic job in challenging some of the strongest political class in Baringo and won against all odds to come to this house at a big contribution. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo made a lot of contribution in this house, both indeed in words and in terms of his service in the different committees that he served in, as well as just being a voice of reason in this House at moments of ecstasy. Mr. Speaker, I say this is a very sorrowful moment because we young senators in this House experienced Senator Cheptumo in different areas, especially because he was a man who was always quiet when he needed to be quiet and spoke when he needed to speak. I remember that the energy that we brought in this House, as some of the youngest legislators in this House, when we could disagree on issues, and especially at the beginning of our term of service in this House, and even continuing to the time that we saw last year. If you remember, after June 25th, and during that time that the young people of this nation were really concerned whether the country was going to the right direction, I think that there were some extreme forces or extreme sides, whether it was on the opposition side as it is traditionally seen, or minority side or majority side. People took extreme positions. But it was only some few senators who could help us bridge the gaps of understanding and break barriers amongst ourselves to be able to talk. One of the most important conversations I remember with Senator Cheptumo was just after June 25th. Mr. Speaker, I met Senator Cheptumo in the corridors of the Senate, and he called me and told me, "Young man, come here." And we went with him and locked ourselves in the in the whip's office, the minority whip's office, Senator Ledama Olekina. And he sat down with me. And I remember him asking me this question, that why is the nation not talking? Why is everybody taking extreme positions? Will we ever have a country? And perhaps it would be important to mention that at that time, he even challenged me, and later on some of us in the minority side, to even talk to our principals, if they could close ranks and talk for the sake of this nation. So even though our principals took some stance and started the elements of dialogue, in this House, with the wisdom of people like Senator Cheptumo, had that fire burning in the bellies, thinking of how the country could talk together. And sometimes those informal conversations, some people might not see their weight. But I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, that those informal conversations that go in the corridors of parliament with wise minds like those of Senator Cheptumo have found their ways to the ears of some serious decision makers. And I want to say that even as he rests, he made a major contribution to this country in terms of peace and calmness that we enjoy today. Because some of those conversations ended up, indeed, in the ears of decision makers in this country. I know that we had only a few years that we shared with him, about 2.5 years to be precise, but I think that he has left indelible mark and a hint of hope in our hearts as an elder and as a voice of reason in this House. We can't mourn him enough, but all we can say is wish his family a lot of strength. Is wish the people of his village a lot of strength. Is wish the people of Baringo a lot of strength. And indeed, as a House, and on my own behalf, together with the people of Migori County, who sent me to this House as a senator, I want to pass my sincerest condolences to the family of Cheptumo, and I hope that God, in his abundant mercies, will give a lot of grace, tranquility, and kindness to his family during these hard times. Mr. Speaker, I want to extend the same heartfelt condolences to the people of Malava and the family of Honorable Malulu, who again was an elderly, soft-spoken, and reflective, as well as measured member of parliament in the corridors of this wonderful institution that the people have sent us to. I want to say sorry to the National Assembly for losing such a balanced leader, as well as the people of Malava for losing an amazing leader who has served with diligence and commitment that we have seen some of the leaders who are sober coming to this parliament with. They have left us to glean some morals from them, and indeed we will learn from them the art and the wisdom of serving our people without looking back in a lonely path and a thankless job called politics. May their soul rest in peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of the great county of Nyamira and on behalf of members of the legal profession to also convey my heartfelt condolences on the untimely death of our colleague, Senator Baringo, Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we were privileged to visit the family, late Cheptumo. The widow is our colleague in the legal profession, and I think all his children are in line after the father's footsteps. Mr. Speaker, Cheptumo distinguished himself as a man who was honest, even when he was telling you what you didn't want him to tell you. He was not a typical politician who will tell you yes when they mean no. If you asked him to do you a favor and he was of the opinion that he will not be able to do that favor, he will tell you while facing you that one I will not be able to help you. So those are the kind of leaders, Mr. Speaker, that we should aspire to be. People who really live by the order we have been given, honorable member of parliament. I've known Cheptumo for many years. We went to the same university. When I was joining University of Nairobi to undertake studies in law, Senator Cheptumo was in third year. So in all aspects, he was my senior in the legal profession. Mr. Speaker, we also should acknowledge that he has left a mark as a formidable politician, first elected to parliament in the year 2007, and he served 3 uninterrupted terms as a member of National Assembly. That's not a small feat of achievement. So we should really salute him as a man who knew to connect with the people, as a man who was dedicated in service to the people. So the legal profession, where I also belong, the people of Baringo have lost a very, very dedicated leader, and all we can do is to pass our messages of condolences to the family and to the people of the great county of Baringo. But Mr. Speaker, when death happens, it's also time for us to reflect, because we must accept the reality that our days in this world are numbered. So when we have been given the honor to serve, Mr. Speaker, let's serve with distinction. Let us serve while putting the interest of the people who elect us to this distinguished house ahead of all our interests. Senator Cheptumo was very passionate in bringing down cases of cattle rustling in Baringo. He was a peacemaker. He went out of his way to ensure that the communities in Baringo coexisted. So let us be reminded, as we mourn the passing on of our colleague, that we are all brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, when your time comes to go, what will you be remembered for? The way we are remembered, Senator Cheptumo, as somebody who was preaching peace, somebody who wanted all communities to coexist in Baringo, somebody who did not want to see bloodshed. Let us also be men and women, Mr. Speaker, who want to treat every Kenyan as a brother and a sister. We shall really miss him. We shall miss the services of Senator Cheptumo. Fare thee well, our dear brother. May Almighty God rest the soul of our brother Cheptumo in eternal peace. Go well, brother.
Honorable Senators, having concluded debate on this motion, and in the absence of the mover to reply. Okay, you have a point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I apologize. I should not be interfering with you when you are on your feet speaking, but I think this is the only time when I can also be able to, consider standing order number 66(3) to actually request you to, defer this motion. Then I just want to request that you defer it and put the question to a later date, pursuant to that same standing order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Senator. Thank you very much. As per the request by Senator Eddy, I defer the putting of the questions to tomorrow, Wednesday, 19th February 2025, in the morning sitting. Honorable Senators, I also defer all the business in order number 9 to order number 19 in today's order paper. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 19th February 2025 at 9:30 a.m.